like second edition all over again.
Hi guys, my name's John Eric. I hate fun. I don't want people to have fun except for me, and that means I kill you all. New party.
You know, that was actually a pretty good
Damn
pretty
it.
good impression of John
Eric
Eric.
never gave me ownership of the Discord because I was going to boot Travis in the middle of that.
Ownership for exactly these reasons.
I'm so glad that the power is remaining with a non-biased party.
That being said,
Oh, bye.
and kick Oh,
And he was never heard from again.
Well, it sounds like you have an opening, John. You got somebody planned for that, or?
Yes, my name is Travis. I'm not related to.
Why does Travis sound like Deckard Cain?
It's like one of my go-to voices. Like, I don't know why.
Can't stop, won't stop.
My name
Dan-
is
if
Travis,
Dan dies-
and I would like to tell you the story of Tristram.
I could tell you about the Horodrum.
The Herodrum.
Here, bring that bag to me. My God, you found it. The Roderick Cube.
It used to imprison Lord Bale.
Bale! Man, it has been a while. Welcome back, Bale.
Be wary of the butcher.
King Leoric. We've had 3 games, and every boss fight is the same fucking fight. Man,
It's always about Diablo.
it's
Diablo and
But
his
everyone in the
mistress and Daryl.
the game is always about Diablo, but he's never the final boss because we don't plan things appropriately. Eh.
We always add an additional DLC of the brother accepting vengeance.
Oh,
And of course, in Diablo 2, everyone liked Mephisto because he dropped the best shiny trousers.
I will
You
say
found
the
Mephisto.
Diablo 3. Yeah, Diablo 3 is the first time I have ever seen a halo on an angel in art and gone like, holy shit, that looks amazing.
It's pretty cool.
They made a good point of like the angels fight horrible demons. They aren't all like shiny and soft. They are nightmares made manifest that are just light colored instead of red colored.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite lines from the Diablo series is actually from
Bale.
well, that's one of them. It is actually from Deckard Cain. Like he's explaining basically, you know, you can figure out humans and you can figure out demons, but whatever the hell the angels are up to, I don't fucking know. It's great.
Like Deckard Cain had some of the funniest lines. Although I would say my top favorite line is the Potion Master in the third world of Diablo 2. When you first introduce it, he's like, "Damn it! Why won't you people just leave me alone?" And that, for some reason, broke me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the part in Diablo 3 where Deckard Cain's about to like warn them about something. He's like, now listen to this tale. And like, if you're playing the monk, he's like, we have no time for this. No more talk. And just like leaves. Nobody ever listens.
All right. Well, let's get started. Noah's back this week.
Hello.
Where'd he go?
Hooray.
You know
I-
what? Probably not an answer I'm willing to hear.
He wasn't present when his bones were reforged.
He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's like a hard poop after a week of diarrhea. Like, we're glad he's here, but he's still uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's absolutely savage.
Like I have no response. I have no
Oh my God.
I mean,
There's no winning. He's already dead.
Yeah.
whoever's watching in the Twitch channel, like, please call the local authorities. We just witnessed a fucking murder.
Yeah.
Eric, please don't ever tell people on Twitch to do that, because they fucking will.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's just us, it looks like, right now. So
Yeah,
that's one of
I think
you
it's just us
bastards.
at the moment.
I'm glad.
So last week's game was a real roller coaster. There was a fight against a lot of different kinds of chitin. Basically all of these outsiders from like the shadow plane who just sort of revel in, you know, pain and, well, mostly just pain and all of the different ways that you can do a pain and make it into a good thing.
You were in
And
Hellraiser.
one of them was very concerned with making you all resplendent, gorgeous, glowing artwork. and the other ones were concerned with buzzing around like volleyballs covered in knives and just kind of brushing up against you. So there was a range of emotions. Everybody got kind of knocked unconscious and then woke up a little bit and knocked unconscious and woke up a little bit and knocked unconscious and woke up a little bit. And then eventually they just found themselves on a wagon heading out of town in a very Skyrim sort of, oh, you're awake sort of moment. With Forsidna driving, Dandarin asleep in the front seat next to her, everybody else asleep in the back, and they went over some stuff and they realized that they couldn't remember pretty much anything that happened in Charon, except that, you know, they got to town and they were told to leave town to go fight the Oromite, because the Oromite must have been the thing that took Gever. It's been making the roads real dangerous. It must have been the Oromite.
Must have been the Oromite.
And then they apparently fought it, though nobody really remembers that. And they got Gever's bones back, though nobody really remembers how. But they do have Gever's bones, and they have Gever's old sword and his armor and all that stuff. And they're on their way home. And they make it all the way to Jacker's Neck, and they're sort of, you know, just kind of hanging out. They have Clarice Wrighton's there with them, and Forsidna's there, and Tertia's there, and at night they all start to realize that Sharut and Dandarin and Tertia and Forsidna and Quintus and basically everybody in the party except for Clarice and Lumio have glowing golden bones underneath their skin. It's not enough to like light up the room, but it's enough that if you're not in very bright light, you can definitely tell that your skeleton is glowing from underneath.
I still contend that under his armor, Lumio has a stickman painted skeleton.
They
feel it in my not bones.
I just imagine the weird costume from Breath of the Wild, where it's just the glow in the dark skeleton.
Yeah. Yeah, Lumio is painted like one of the scary, spoopy skeletons.
But paint me like one of your scary, spoopy skeletons.
But only on the back.
Only where he can't see it.
Only where he can't see it.
I hate to watch him go, but I love to see him leave.
So everybody else is like looking at Lumio as he walks by, and they go, "What the fuck?" And somebody else goes, "You know, Warforged." So they go, "Nah, yeah." And so that's where we are starting off. Jam Forks and Jelly Spoons, let's get back to the right map. I believe this map is cunningly titled Encounter 2, because I still haven't changed it. Which,
oh man, love me some Encounter 2.
Clever. Making us think it was the second encounter.
Wait. It might be Encounter 1.
Even more dubious.
Even more dubious.
The first encounter of the game. We've cleared the tutorial.
My bad. It's actually called On the Road.
There's no road on this.
And that's when the party discovered they were in a time loop.
I was actually thinking earlier today about how to do a game that has like a time loop, because I started watching that Mini a True Nerd video where he was going through the Golden Rule, which I don't know if any of you have watched that video, but it looks really dope. And basically, you've only got like 12 minutes, and then it like reverts back, and you have to like solve everything in that amount of time. But you might have to go through it multiple times to get to the point where you can solve everything in that amount of time. It's pretty interesting.
That's pretty fun.
There's a galactic one that was similar to that, where you're on a time loop and you have to figure out the mystery of why it keeps happening.
Yeah, like
the sun explodes.
I always think that kind of stuff is fun. Like I was thinking about like running a game that was based on that, where it's like terrible thing happens right at the beginning and the PCs go on, and then like halfway through you get put to like a month before a terrible thing happens, and it's like you have all the information now, but can you stop it? Like I think that'd be neat. Anyway, so getting back to a much less interesting concept, 7 idiots are in a bar.
My intelligence is quite high. Travis the character, or Travis the player? Idiot.
Yes.
I will echo that statement.
So, I believe where we left off was everybody sort of realizing that, oh god, our bones are glowing. and some people reacted differently from others. Quintus is kind of starting to lose it. Delian, I don't think really cared. He was just like, yeah, that would be my luck.
Yeah.
Dandarin and Fursidna just kind of like put their helmets on so nobody could see and just kept drinking with Tertia, who is wearing like a vest. So her arms are just brightly glowing, and she's like, what? I should be golden and splendid. Unless anybody has any objection or anything else that they specifically want to do, I figured that we would pass the night and wake up the next day.
Yep.
Sounds
I
great
just
to me.
I just need Dandarin to give me an appraise check or a craft check or whatever to tell me what this cloak is. Whatever that thing
alright.
is he does.
Same for my crossbow, because we still haven't identified that either.
I guess I can try.
He's already tried and failed with the crossbow. So
I can try on the cloak.
Yeah, you can try the cloak.
I thought it was like a 24-hour thing. But...
Nope.
Oh, hey, I got it.
So it's you're unable to identify everything about this, but you know that there's a strong necromancy to this, and it feeds on something, and based on how sated it is, you can use it to do different things. The one that you're able to identify right now is that if it is partially sated, it is able to either do a chill touch or a ray of enfeeblement. You know that it has the potential for more, but it would be hard to unlock what those abilities actually are unless it was more sated.
So the question is this just a wondrous magical item, or is like there's something more? Like, how strong is it just strong necromancy?
This would be yes, this would be a strong necromantic aura.
Okay, so that's okay.
Okay. I'm Quintus is gonna try a thing because he has that. One of the benefits to his the oaths that he's taken is the Whisperer of the Lost that
Okay.
lets him talk to dead things.
Yeah.
Does the cloak talk back?
So are you like activating that ability and then like trying to
It's
speak? with the cloak?
always active.
Oh, it's just always active.
It is always active.
So if that's the case, sorry, I did not know that this ability was always active. I thought this was a thing you had to like kick on.
It is a constant supernatural effect.
The cloak, when you pull it out and sort of look at it, just begins this sort of aura of kind of whispering and gibbering and mewling and moaning, and there's some weeping and sobbing, and every now and then just this like ear-shattering scream that only you can hear.
I hate it.
So you're looking at it, and like, because it just looks like a bunch of faces strung together, it's really hard to tell which of them is making which noise, and you're hearing more noises than there are like faces in the cloak anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just this like, let us go, combined with "Ah! I'll kill all of you," just all the time.
Wow.
Well, that goes back in the bag.
Yeah, and as soon as it's back in the bag, like, you can't hear it anymore.
I think you're gonna stay there, friend.
Danrin, you're able to identify that. I believe there was also a ring. There was a ring that you guys have not been able to identify yet, and that was the only other option. But you rolled on that. Has anybody else not rolled on it who has the potential?
I have the potential, but I haven't rolled on it, so I can.
You want to give an appraise roll?
Sure.
Or if you have any way of doing detect magic, you can give me a spellcraft roll.
I do have spellcraft, which is actually a bit higher.
Oh well, do you have a way of detecting magic?
You have the
no.
divination sphere, basically.
No. So it would just be appraise.
Okay, so go ahead and give me an appraise roll. That is not going to be enough.
Wow, this is a ring.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, and I believe at that, everybody tucks in for the night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, except for Lumio.
Yeah, Lumio probably sits up reading or tinkering on himself or doing
I got
whatever.
those books.
So,
Books about the history.
I think it's oddly funny that his name's Lumio, and he's one of the only ones who isn't luminescent right now.
yes,
It was a dick move by him, but it's appreciated too. So
it would be. I really want to do the painted skeleton on the back, but it just doesn't make sense for the guy. He's an artist. It wouldn't happen. But go back, ask nicely. He might replace all of your copper parts with sort of burnished gold from reputable sources, of course.
I like how John Eric is really getting into this terrible pain-based demon and is like ascribing him personality traits and like identifying what he would and wouldn't do. It's almost like he's filling his shoes, like he's a character that he relates to. It makes a lot of sense, actually.
I mean,
I have never met.
We're gonna go with no
creature.
comment.
I mean, to be fair, the characters that I find the most fun to play are the ones that I have something in common with, at least on some level.
God, you guys.
I can just see myself being in their place and getting inside their head. Really,
I have played.
I'll make you resplendent.
So I only realized that I was doing this after making fun of David for his character choice. Which, if none of you guys have played with David, he plays lizard-based people, or he plays paladins, and he hit peak David in a game that I was in with him, where he played a lizard folk paladin. And I pointed it out to him, and he was like, "I don't play that many paladins," and then I like spelled it out. I was like, dude, I have gamed with you now for like 7 years, and I think in those 7 years you've played 10 different paladins or paladin type characters where it's like, oh, he's just a fighter, but he's like a fighter for the church.
Yeah.
And then I was like thinking about like, what do I play? And I play people who are like brutally, meanly honest. Like I absolutely refuse to lie, but I'm gonna tell you the truth in the way that's the most painful. And then I was just like, oh god, like that's gotta say some shit about me. And so then I made a character for our Ruins of Aslan game who spoke only in questions, and if you forced him to say something that wasn't a question, he would lie. And I was like, all right, yeah, like this'll break the truth curse. I'll play somebody who only lies.
How was it? Did you
How'd it
enjoy
go?
It was actually okay. And it was like a pretty good build too, because of Pathfinder arithmetic shenanigans. I could lie to somebody's face about something that they did not want to believe and knew wasn't true, and they would believe me. Like,
Yeah.
it was that sort of build where it's like I have maxed out my bluff skill to such a point where I'm at like a plus 55 base at level 10, and I can walk up to somebody and be like, "I am the moon," and they'd be like, "Oh my god, like, are we in trouble? You shouldn't be down here."
Where's the rest of you? You're so much is missing.
No, it's just me at night. I'm real bright. Oh,
Oh,
it's night
Never
right
knew
now.
that.
Yeah, I'm trying to save you though. Like,
oh, you're
Wait.
so kind.
Wait, we're sailors. Should I be worried about the tides?
I mean, probably.
That's how you distract the guards. Oh no! I need to check everything real quick.
Oh.
I'm gonna run down to the docks, just check the tide. I think that's my job now, so I'll be back.
Anywho,
All right. So everybody will go to sleep, and except for Lumia, and everybody will wake up. So after tucking in, you can wake up, and then you can tuck in, get some nice foods, and head off. Unless anyone has any business in Jacker's Knack they need to get to.
I have something I want to do on the road, not in Jacker's Deck.
Okay. Well, then we will get back out on the road, and we will be on the road again. There we go. Where are we? There we are. So yeah, everybody, like, you're able to pretty much wake up with the dawn. This is a town that starts very early. These people, like, for the most part, the population of Jacker's Knack are like hunters and woodsmen and stuff like that. So these people are getting up like before the rooster crows and then heading out. So yeah, you are on the road probably before 8. With everybody fed, the horses fed and brushed and all that stuff. And yeah, so you know that you have about 8 hours or so until you get to New Seer. So Noah, you said you wanted to do something on the road. What's that?
I think so. For the past few days, we'll say that Shrewd has been, just like the rest of the party, kind of out of it. And I think he'll finally take notice, like take real notice of the skin that we found those bones in. And he'll look at it for a second.
Oh, you
and
mean the blanket that you guys wrapped together in?
Yeah, the blanket, the very, very, what were its colors again? If you could
That is
kindly
it's a
remind.
black and white striped sort of affair.
I'm assuming those look incredibly familiar.
Given the head that's attached to it, yeah.
And Shrewd will look at it and he'll just kind of be staring at it, and then his eyes will kind of go a little wide, and he'll be like, Quintus,
Yes.
illegal hunt tigers, yes?
Yes, we've covered this. The skin is a tiger. None of us remember killing it. Clearly, it was provided by the townsfolk, or the Oramite did it.
He's back again.
It's probably
Yeah, art-wise, it looks about like this.
Oh,
so
God.
large.
Sharut think best to get rid of, just in case.
Mm.
We no remember a kill. Still could happen. Yes?
All right, let me see it. I'll destroy it.
It just looks pensive. He doesn't answer that question directly.
Clarice would actually speak up at this and say, "What are you doing? Don't destroy that. That's a ghost tiger fur.
Why not destroy?
It's already dead.
Are they worth money?
They're worth quite a bit, since it's illegal to hunt them.
Oh.
As I was telling Quintus, the last time I saw that, Queen Daniel was still on the throne. It's...
Yes, but aren't you concerned about questions of the origin?
No.
If we start putting out clothing, or they start seeing clothing with extra trim or fur or ghost tiger trappings.
Well, I suppose I would ask, did any of us kill it?
Who's to say?
Well, if none of us killed it, and we simply found the skin, this is a kingly gift, and if you'll allow, something I could use to make potentially a proper raiment for Orgev once we get to New Seer. And given that nobility is what it is, there's nothing anyone can do to him with this, except for potentially try to find him, and I doubt that would work.
Fair enough. I support your course of action and agree that once it's in his hands, there's not much that could be done to suggest problematic origin.
Yes, we'll just maybe roll it up the other way for now.
Mm.
And maybe if necessary, if anybody comes looking, he looks to you, Lumio, since he's seen you like be a little magical, and says, maybe you have some tricks up your sleeve that you could use to hide it.
Oh.
No.
I can take care of that right now if you guys want.
Would put Sharut at ease, yes.
Okay. And then he starts shoving this giant tiger skin into a shadow.
Okay.
As it disappears, you see Sharut like physically just relax. It's just like, okay, we can go on now.
I'm gonna have to stay in the wagon now. If I walk out in the broad daylight, my shadow's gonna show a giant tiger. Well, maybe if I rev it. We'll see how it shakes out.
Like this is so that you know, the skin weighs about as much as you do.
Yeah. So I'm staying in the wagon.
Yeah, the skin of a large tiger, like a large bear or something like that, is like 20 kilos of weight.
Yeah.
It's
very
so
heavy.
you basically put it in, and then your shadow just becomes this striped, weird monstrosity on the ground. So yeah. Okay. So with that, is there anything else that anyone wanted to attend to while on the road?
I'm pretty sure it just it doesn't. We'll play it out. It's all good.
Sure. All right. I'm not hearing anything from anyone, so we are going to move along. The rest of your day is fairly uneventful. You guys pass a wagon that is moving north from Kinrun and another that's moving north from New Seer. Both of them are sort of laden with some basically just crates of vegetables, and it looks like they're going to Star Alaska, trying to make a sale, make some profit. But otherwise, there's nothing of note on the road for hours and hours and hours. It's a fairly bright, sunshiny day. It's it's kind of the beginning of spring, and or maybe the end of spring. Nobody really thought to ask what the day was. And you guys are good to move to Seer. So let me bring you all back to New Seer.
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
Been far longer than it should have been.
We will go to this one. Wait, wrong.
Oh no!
This I will let everybody know was the old New Seer map, but I believe you can all see it.
Nope.
There's a big black square in
can.
the middle.
I can. It looks old.
Yeah, it's
I think I'm the only token on the map.
Why are you
I have
the
no
only
vision on this.
I think you are the only token.
Everybody
Wait.
should have vision on this map because
Wait,
I
if
have a token,
zoom
but I
out-
have no vision.
Nope. I can
If
see
I-
the edges of the map. There's
Yeah.
the center is a big black brick.
I can move myself around and slowly gain insight.
interesting. So that's really weird.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, this was the old New Seer map. I have made for us a new New Seer map, or I did not make it. I got Kira Arts to make it for us. So
I still have no tokens.
It is it's
The inky blackness, just how I want.
the great darkness has consumed us.
the Great Darkness, darkness level. Darkness level's all the way down. You guys should be able to fucking see.
You have global illumination set.
Look here, Justin.
I'm just goddamn
Tired of your fucking nonsense, there, boy.
from the background.
As we roll
everybody
in,
sees things. Yeah.
we roll in the war crimes wagon, obliterating all in its path.
Including incoming light, apparently.
Oh,
Um,
when
It
it gets
looks-
big enough to affect light, that's too big.
The map looks very, very good. I will call it New Seer Seer.
Vetoed. So this one has like an appropriate number of tents and like claw towns actually on it, and it actually is capable of representing the population that's in New Seer.
It's still pitch black, and so it's exciting to hear you say that.
I don't know why shit is pitch black for you. Like refresh.
Do I have a token? Hold on.
Yes, I
Yeah,
put
you're
your
there.
token on the map. Like everybody else can see, right?
Yes, I can see.
I am
Yes.
refreshing.
So this is just a Justin thing.
You do not own any token with vision in this scene.
What the?
Mm.
Hold on.
Is it a Justin thing? I'm thinking maybe it's
I'm
not.
thinking
Quintus
it's
has disappeared.
absolutely a Justin thing.
Here comes a new token for Quintus.
No, that was totally the old token. What are you talking about? He's just
All right,
Literally.
let's see if he puts his erect on the table. What happens?
I was actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now can you see?
Hold on. I'm logging in on a different browser to see if it's a browser issue. I don't think it is because the error messages that it's giving me are that I don't own tokens, but I will load this up and see, and then
Yeah, I mean Quintus was on the map, so
Mm-hmm.
does Quintus have vision?
I-
I mean, his
should.
tokens should. Yeah. It's just-
vision, default Pathfinder 1. Yeah,
Now I can see. Hold on. Did you
So-
put Zeract on the map?
no,
Okay, good. Okay. So something was fucky.
yeah. Anyway, welcome to New Seer, boys. So same sort of layout. Like 3 tents over here, claw towns over here. We've got the manor over here with some of the farm fields kind of surrounding the place.
My smithy has a place now.
The smithy has a place now. It's right there. The road to the quarry is this one. The road to Starlasker is the one that you came in on. This one goes to Sterngate. That one goes to Kinrun. As you all come in, you will notice probably a major change to anybody who has been here before, which is all of you. As you are walking in, this is new. This whole road here. And it is an actually like cobbled road. It is not a dirt road anymore.
Nice.
That
So the road to Clawtown has been cobbled in the time that you have been gone. So I will I'll move the wagon sort of up here because it's large.
it's a big fella.
But in addition to making it home to New Seer after 3.5 months of playtime, 4 months, 3.5, 4. We'll go with 4.
It's 4.
is that in addition to making it home to New Seer, you all level. Yeah.
Hooray!
Ooh, hooray.
So, oh, by the way, I really want to point out number 19 here, and I want to point out what number 19 is. It is Alpha Alder's Atelier.
Why? Why do you do this to me?
I love the alliteration of
Alpha
tin,
Elder
twine, and
Alders.
trinkets.
Yeah.
Alpha Elder Alders
Atelier.
Atelier?
Yeah, it's French. You don't pronounce the R on the last one.
Atelier. Okay. Alpha Elder Alders Atelier. Oh man.
It's actually made of alder as well. So
Yeah, it's also it's an atelier that's made of alder the wood. So she is alder the tree in an atelier made of alder the wood. She is also the alpha elder. So she is alpha elder alder inside alpha elder alder's alder atelier.
yeah, correct.
I just wanted to make sure that we had that straight.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I
I
heard
was
his
just-
brain like sizzling when you were saying it.
It's the alliteration. I can't
Oh,
tip
it's
of the
so
tongue and the
fun.
teeth.
So let's go over some leveling stuff. So I'll start with Dandrin.
So, Dandrin.
So what'd you get for level 5 there, Dandrin?
So what Dandrin did for level 5 is, I've got everything up. So for talents, I took Force Redirection Technique from the Equipment Sphere. It allows me to use my Strength bonus instead of my Dex bonus for armor bonuses in armor.
That's such
It's
nonsense.
still capped by my armor. But yeah.
God, that's nonsense. All right, what else?
For my feet, so Dandrin woke up with a itchy shoulder as that weird dragon mark grew on his and got more intricate as I took a lesser true dragon mark for warding.
So your
The
man,
ability I took.
your man
was
who
explosive
refuses to acknowledge his Kundarak bloodline is getting more powerful dragon marks.
Correct.
Fantastic.
His bloodline is quite pure, apparently.
The blood is strong in this one.
Damn it. Special ability, Artisan Savant, craft magic arms and armor from Blacksmith. And then skill increases was Appraise, Climb, Craft Masonry, Disable Device, Knowledge Engineering, Knowledge Local, Perception, Profession Blacksmith, Survival, and Swim. And from my spheres and class features, I also got ranks in Craft Blacksmithing and Handle Animal.
Nice. All right, and you have a D10 to roll?
I do.
Or D8?
Oh, also, it is a D10. Also, my Thunderous Blows gained an additional D6. So it's now 3D6.
Nice. Go ahead and roll a 1D10 for hit points.
I'll take it.
I think you should take mine.
No.
Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. All right. And after Dandrin, let's go to Delian. Delian, you have leveled to 5.
I have. Hooray. So Delian, being ever misfortunate in the past few months, has learned to cast that misfortune onto others.
Nice.
I gained the Hexcrafter Hex Misfortune, which allows me to hex a person or a creature of I think any hit die amount.
Yeah, it's basically they just have to make a save or they fail.
Yeah, and if they fail, they have to for everything until the hex expires. They roll 2 dice and take the lesser
Nice.
roll.
That is brutal.
Yeah. Here, I'm just going to throw out disadvantage last for like 3 rounds.
Let's make it so everything has a 50% failure rate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brrr.
maybe it'll actually save him. So here's hoping.
I got to tell you this. It won't.
I know. It's just wishful thinking, man.
Now they rolled a 19 and a 20.
And so, nah, man. He also gained the light sphere, which is pretty cool after blinding himself in the eyes. See, 14 and a 3, that felt pretty good. And then he gained finesse fighting, so now he can use his dex to fight instead of his strength, so he can actually do stuff, which is pretty
Nice.
neat. Yeah.
And then you got a bunch of skills that are all thiefly and acrobatic-y and crafty and
And
stuff.
most of them free due to skills and spheres that he's a part of.
All right. Sounds good. And I believe you leveled as a hedge witch, correct?
Yes.
And hedge
I did
witch is
indeed.
a D6.
Sure.
D8.
Is hedge witch D8?
Hedge witch is in fact a D8.
All right, go ahead and
Lovely,
roll
even better. Thank you, Justin.
1D. I almost wrote 18.
How about that?
That's not how dice work.
Slash roll there, bud.
No, I realized what I did. I'm taking yours, my friend.
No, that's Sharut. It's his gift to you because I clicked him because he's next.
All right, Sharut
Hey.
gets 2 hit points this level.
Dude,
yeah,
Sharut.
Nice.
that's how it works.
Sucks.
Love it.
Sharut, what'd you get for level 5 there, friend?
This was a pretty uneventful level for Sharut. Didn't get a crazy amount of stuff, but some really good stuff regardless. Bunch of skills, too many to list, not going to go over it. But for my talent, I picked up Fuse Master from the Alchemy Sphere. Because you know what's more fun than timed grenades? Being able to control when those timed grenades go boom.
I don't like it.
You know, that's too bad.
I'm going to throw out a new grenade each round, and each one is going to have a fuse that's one less round in length so that they all explode at the same time.
See,
Yeah.
now it accounts for that. It does account for that. So there's a cap on basically how much cross damage you can have from grenades going off in the same round.
Well, that's fantastic.
But that cap is if they're overlapping. So
So if you don't overlap them, it's still fine.
yeah, we'll do some shenanigans. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Had a knockback effect. They get knocked from one straight into the other.
Class feature got advanced medical training, so now I can basically use 5 charges of a healer's kit
Oh, fuck me.
to cure one of the following conditions: blindness, deafness, paralysis, or poison. And then it also, amazingly, bumps the amount of hit points I heal from my medical training from 1+1 for each point past the DC to 2+2 for each hit point past, or for each point past the DC.
Damn.
Yeah, basically just doubled my healing output, which is beautiful.
Yeah. That ain't bad.
I also got there's more to it, but it doesn't activate until later levels. Yeah, it doesn't activate until later levels. But eventually, once I get 8 ranks in the heal skill, I'll be able to restore 1 point of ability drain for every 5 points by which I exceed that 20 DC heal check.
Nice.
Since I now have 5 points in the heal skill, I can now actually heal ability damage with the use of my medical training skill. So I'm we're doing pretty good on the healing here, boys.
Wait, so you're saying that I should just keep poisoning Delian?
No. I mean, if you want to, but
Well, because you
gonna
can
make
heal it.
we're gonna make him pay for all of the med kits.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's fair.
Is that more fun than randomly having Dandarin fall into memory siphoning ice? Because I feel that's the more interesting, consistent application.
Why am I glowing?
Look,
Who are all of you? What am
If
I
you-
doing here?
if you
Fish
want to
product.
mix it up, I won't hold it against you. And then the last thing I got was another material position, and I got Belladonna Barrier because I am sick of being attacked by creatures and their ilk. Basically, it's very, very long-winded, but I can activate it, and I believe it allows me. I can activate it for the day, I believe is how it's. I'll have to reread it to be sure, but get a few effects. Immune from
Lycanthropes.
thank you, lycanthropy. Why can I not say that word?
That
I gain a circumstance bonus against all natural attacks equal to my intelligence modifier.
Nice.
And then what's the last part? It can be used in treating to basically prevent poison and become temporarily immune to poison
That you're already afflicted with.
that you're already afflicted with. Yeah. It also gives my flashbangs the ability to deal strength damage. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Nice. All right. And after that is going to be Quintus.
I don't want to interrupt Quintus, but we have to roll my hit dice.
Oh.
I would like
No,
that.
it's
No,
fine.
no, we went over this. You don't get those.
Wait, no. Do I get the
He went
the
straight
8
to
from
Dillian.
Do I get the 8 from Dillian? Because that would be great.
All right, let me roll your piddly little d6 of hit points here, Shrute. Go ahead and roll.
What? I really need it. I'll take yours. I'll take yours.
Do you want to take yours?
No, I'll take yours, John Eric. Thank you.
All right, that's
Thank
fair.
you.
I guess if you want to do that, you can gain 6 hit points in addition to whatever you get for levels and con and all that nonsense. And then we'll go to Quintus.
You know, it's fair because Shrewd had a real long list of things. Hedge Witch does not give you goddamn anything at level 5.
It doesn't.
No, there's no talents, there's no caster level, there's no save increase, there's no base attack bonus increase. I'm lucky that I got hit points and skill points and the feat that comes from hitting level 5. But that's it. I got skill points, I got a feat.
Yeah, level 5 is it's kind of a dead level for you.
Yeah, it really is. Level 6 is gonna the one plus side is that I've filled level 5 with some of the benefits from the oaths I've taken. So I've got some minor things happening there. But otherwise this is a pretty bullshit level. I do get greater shadow mark, which makes it so that my what is the name of that ability?
Your shadow magic?
No, hold on. It's these stupid guys. It's the thing that they get. This stupid the shadow mark. My shadow mark does d8s in damage now instead
of d6s.
Instead of d6s, yeah.
Nice.
So it's a little bit of a damage boost. Now with that, I can do AOE damage at 3d8, so that's pretty solid as well. So I'm not too sad about that. And then I got a bunch of skill points.
Okay, sounds good. And then we will roll your hit points, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll me a d8.
Yeah, that went about how I expected.
All right. And it looks like lastly but not leastly is going to be Lumio.
Yeah. So this level looked like it was going to be butts too, so I just decided to make up a whole bunch of shit, and John was cool with it. So let's start with the top.
Why
did I think of that shit?
Not entirely true.
It seemed like the lie that was the most likely to take. The first thing I did is I'm going to start with the feat that I took. I was tired of being ignored by like everything on the battlefield, and so I wanted to draw its attention to me or near me. So I took the feat called Spirit Beacon, which lets me create a manifesting glowing pillar of ethereal light that extends upward for hundreds of feet, not through ceilings. And then any creature within 100 feet per caster level of me can be affected by the light. So totems have nearly unlimited distance at this point.
So you have basically gained an ability to tell everyone where you are, but also to buff everybody within 100 feet of your totem.
500 feet because I'm level 5.
Jesus.
Oh.
Good
What the
God.
hell?
I'm gonna just hate you as a free action.
I feel that one. Whoa, that's
I'll
a
use that as
powerful
a
free
swift
action.
action.
But you're losing agency for that, so I don't know. I think it's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I did was I picked up range totems, so now I can put down totems at close range, which is up to 40 feet away from me, I believe.
Yeah, 25 plus 2 per 5 levels, so it should be 35 feet away.
35, excuse me. Thank you. But that's still not necessarily next to me. I could cast it out a window and then lights everywhere, which is super cool. And you just have to see that light, I should mention, so you don't actually have to be in that light. But I do need line of sight to do like the Raleigh stuff still. So it's not all powerful. It's just really powerful. And then the other talent I picked up was Penetrating Blast, which allows me to ignore energy resistance equal to my caster level on my destructive sphere. And there's some spell point stuff with that, but that's pretty much the fancy part of it.
Nice.
So
I have a question.
sure.
Is there a ton of benefit that you see to being able to place the pillar 40 feet away?
I'm not directly visible. Like if I did do it out a window, like
Gotcha.
it's next to a building.
Okay.
Yeah,
but if I
because-
do it with the
That's
regular
for a
ones,
doorway.
That makes
Mhm.
sense. Because I was like, if it's a range thing, you've got that covered.
Mhm.
That
Well, he
adds
he
nothing.
only has that covered outside.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because the spirit beacon basically, like, once the light hits the roof, it stops.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, still ridiculous and kind of great, and just
Mhm.
makes me continually question things that are happening when characters become like level 10 or 15 in spheres. Like I have no idea how you would run it, and
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to the nonsense that we get up to.
Mhm.
And apparently Tertia is still frightened and fatigued, and
Yeah, there we go.
Just like all the time, yeah.
I thought
that's
that was by design. To
And
be
then-
honest.
Incanter is full caster, so they should be a D6, right? Yeah, they're a D6. So
Yeah.
you want to go ahead and roll a D6?
I don't, but there we go.
Dude, everybody got max hit points except for you.
That's correct. And I just took the thing that makes me a living target.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
look at
Hey,
it
guys,
this
look at me.
look at it this way. Your backup character might make better decisions.
I already have them planned. But yeah, I'm gonna take the 5 just for.
So real quick, to go over the map so that we know where some things are, because there are things that we have mentioned and things that we've kind of glossed over. We have Prince Orgev's Manor right here. We have the Sornath Smithy right there. Actually, I'm going to move all your dudes over here. We have the Church of the Sovereign Host right here in the middle. The fairgrounds are up here. You can see that tents have already sort of moved in, and the 3 big tents that were provided by House Phylarn have basically already been co-opted. People are already living in them. Eladris Fickle Folly, which is the business that Tertia owns with Sidence, is right here. The House Deneath Enclave is up here. The House Jarasco Clinic is right here. We have the Orion Roadhouse is here. It's basically like this is where their couriers stop in on the road from Kinrun to Sterngate, and where they put together caravans and that sort of stuff. Bograk's Pit is number 9 up here. This is where Lumio and Ringer fought Wogan, the Shifter. We have the House Lyrander Enclave, and its very, very sad heir up here. The House Thrash Enclave is up here. House Vidalis has the sort of the breeding house and the farm, the stable behind the manor. So they have 2 enclaves because they're breeding a bunch of animals, like sheep, cattle, that sort of thing, which they are either selling or donating to the town, since the town needs a lot of livestock. And the Ketchfalar tents, where Sharut stays with Darlal and Rytil, are over here. It is 3 small pup tents. I just wanted Sharut to know where he lived on the map.
Thank you.
You live right there.
It's very kind.
The Kundarak Coinage House, so the bank, is right there. The Civis Speaking House, which is basically your phone or what do you call it? Your telegram thing to everywhere else. It's going to be right here. The House Kenneth Forge is right here. So you have 5 of the houses in basically like a line right here. Timmins Neatery is right here across from the Church of the Sovereign Host.
Timmins, nice.
This is where Sharut goes to get all of his pastries. The Dromite Embassy, where you guys met the Ambassador Shalabaska, that's right here. And then Alpha Elder Alder Atelier is right here. Right here. And then Tin Twine and Trinkets is basically just a general store. There's a number of these. This is probably the most prevalent mage rite in the town, which everybody identifies as being the most prominent mage rite, because one day this house wasn't here, and then one day it was. And so that is the town as laid out on the new map so that you all know what's what. Do be aware that as things happen to this town, I will be changing the map.
Cool.
So if in the city building sort of portion of stuff you guys start doing things and you're like, yeah, we're going to like build an aqueduct, like an old Roman sort of aqueduct, like coming out of the mountains to here. Like there will be an aqueduct on the map that's going like
I don't know why we need to be aware of that. That you've set that expectation now.
Well, I'm just letting you guys know, like
Okay.
things will be happening sometimes. So, and yeah, so, I believe that's it.
Gives me go.
So you guys just got back into town, and you are, you've been gone for a while, but nobody really knows quite how long of a while you've been gone. So what would you all like to do as you come back into town?
We head to meet Prince Orgev.
All right.
Does seem like the thing to do. I have a couple of things to do after that.
Same.
Sharut too.
Sure, but the first thing that we do is meet with Prince Orgev.
Okay, so everybody's going off to the manor.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
guess. Yeah.
You sound so like. I guess if that's the way it has to go.
Never been known to Bailadine before.
I was hoping to do other things, but okay.
Well,
I don't know. Has Delian met Prince Orgev? I don't think he has.
I don't. I honestly don't know. Yes.
I don't. Has
Uh,
he? I don't think he has.
Yes,
Yes.
because I just loaded the map and Delian is on it.
That'd do it.
Oh, that'll do it.
So, yeah, you guys will all be able to.
I look shocked.
You guys will all be at the door, and then who knocks?
Quintus.
All right. So you knock, and the door is opened by a Warforged, who today has something like similar to mutton chops, but they look very finely crafted out of some sort of like maybe very polished iron, maybe silver, and they're just kind of like affixed to his face. And he is wearing a pair of spectacles, which he sort of pushes up as the movement of opening the door shakes them loose from his head a little bit, as he doesn't have ears. And
Delian will chuckle at this, but only under his breath.
and he looks to all of you and goes, and then he looks down and says, Master Adradar.
Simply Quintus, please. Cogsworth, I see that you've...
Yes, of course, Master Adradar.
Yes, well, we're here to see the prince, if he's available.
He is. He was just speaking with the heir of House Lyrander, but I can, if you'd follow me to the sitting room, you can wait for him.
Yes, of course.
And he will sort of walk in this way and lead you all to a sitting room, which I believe none of you except potentially Quintus has seen before. It's pretty nicely appointed. There's, a couple of fine chairs. There looks to be a piano that people haven't really touched in a long time because it looks a wee bit dusty.
I believe Gruddick and Danthrin were here when we were originally contracted.
And he
for the first mission.
he will take a small key from a pocket on his sort of belt sash, and he will unlock this item right here. And he goes, please help yourself to anything libation wise that you would like, and if you would care for it, I can have one of the cooks begin preparing some snacks. I know the road must have been quite rough.
Sharut would like tea.
Tea, yes, I will have it brought.
Yeah. Snacks would be great. Thanks.
Cogsworth, your chops are looking quite fine today. Are they new?
No, not new, of course. Just freshly polished.
They look lovely.
And he sort of like, he nods to Dandarin, and he says, I've had the pleasure of speaking with Miss Sornath on a number of occasions, and she said that she would see to my various aesthetic pieces. She does fine work.
All right. Well, now that I know Ushwin's the one who done it, Dandridge's going to take a closer look.
So she hasn't crafted them. She's just taken care of them, and it looks like she's done a fairly good job. Like they're sort of brushed and polished without removing a lot of the detail, which, given the detail that they have, would be extremely hard. So this is probably something that took her the better part of a day.
Good. She's done fine work. And Dandridge's just going to absentmindedly take out some pieces of metal and start working on something.
Okay. And he goes,
Like his chisels and stuff.
Thank
It's
you.
going to be loud.
Thank you, Master Sornath. I appreciate the compliment. All of you, I will return momentarily when we have either a place for you to sit or we have successfully concocted your libations. Please find yourself at home if you would like. In the next room, and he points this way, is the library where you may also look around and peruse what we have recovered from various libraries throughout Seer, but otherwise, please remain in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll bow to all of you and then head out.
I believe I would very much like to see that.
I will join you.
So this is a very well-appointed library, but as you enter, you can tell that it's a well-appointed library full of very mistreated books. Like, some of them look to be burnt, some of them are half melted or are sort of merged together. It looks like these literally were scavenged from Seer. And so all of them are in, just, there's kind of something wrong with each of them in their own way. Like, you might open one where the text is just upside down, like every third or fourth line. You might open one where the text just seems to move. There's one where you open it, and every time you turn the page, you're on the same page, but the number of pages doesn't seem to dwindle. It's definitely disconcerting being in here, but given some time in here, you might be able to figure out something. Like, it's probably the closest thing to, like, a researchable library that you have in town.
Sharud, were Lumio and Sharud at the library at the same time?
The library in Starlast?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would hesitate to put any of these books on the floor. There are several places that might be better for them. If you don't mind, I would appreciate a little bit of extra care, as they potentially might have knowledge that we don't.
Shouldn't understand. Books look like need extra care. And he'll pull one that looks like damaged gingerly from the from a nearby shelf, and he'll like place it down on a table.
Yeah.
And he'll start to do his best to like try and restore it with what he has on hand. Like, minor stuff.
So,
Minor care.
You open this, and the text is literally like scrolling. Like it's scrolling like a Super Mario Brothers style, just going and going and going. And you find that if you want to read anything in this book, you have to do so at a breakneck pace to keep up with it. And it's very disjointed because you can't go back until you get to the end of the book. And then when you get to the end of the book, you can open it again, but then you're just reading the second line of everything.
Wait, what?
So it scrolls like a Super Mario level, and then once you get to the end of the level, you close the book, and it goes back to the beginning of the Super Mario level at the second line.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, not at the second line. It's just that...
Or it just goes back to the beginning.
It's hard to take in like 3 or 4 different lines of text at once. Sharut might be able to do it. He's a pretty smart man, but there's no way that he's like spot reading each page as he goes.
Lumio is leaning over Sharut after having seen the book doing this, and is just slowly getting closer and closer over the top of Sharut, trying to pick it up as it goes.
Yeah, Sharut, whatever is wrong with this, like even if you had some skill at bookbinding, this book is very much magically screwed with. Like, this book survived the morning.
Sharut will close the book, and he'll sigh to himself.
Hey, I was reading. Oh, sorry. It was rude of me. I apologize.
He like looks back to Lumio, who's like looming over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like,
Just in something he does very often, but he was.
Sharut understand. You can read if want. Sharut, write down later. And he hands Lumio the book.
What was the book on?
This book is it's some sort of like coming of age sort of novel.
Oh,
It's just like, a boy setting out to become like the person he was always meant to be, and trials and tribulations, a little bit of like high adventure, but not much.
is it historical based?
Does not seem to be.
Oh, Lumio is decidedly less interested, and it is an interesting phenomenon, more than it is an interesting tale to me at the moment. I am currently more interested in expanding my knowledge, and he delicately places it back on the shelf, and goes for a book more about eye level for him.
Cool. Yeah, you can grab one, and it's just kind of like softly misting the whole time you're reading it. It's some sort of book about somebody's trip up to the Everice, which is what a lot of people call like the North Pole. And the book is just kind of just like it's like holding dry ice.
Huh. Bizarre. And yeah, he's gonna study that for a little while.
Okay. Yeah, and for the people in the other room, which I believe is Delian and Dandrin, you'll see Tertia actually like walk over to the piano and move the key protector bit up and sit down and start not fully playing like she knows what she's doing, but she's knows a little bit more than your average person. So she's actually able to like tickle the keys just a bit, but she still messes up every now and then, and just and then goes back. And so you're hearing basically like the beginning to like "Oh My Darling" about 15 different ways.
Lovely.
Each messing up at a different point a little bit further on.
Delian takes great delight in every single slight fuck up.
Yeah. And I mean, she's playing with the knowledge of somebody who probably had to take lessons like 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And eventually Cogsworth will come back in with a tray that's covered in a smattering of like biscuits and tarts and that sort of thing. But also a pot of tea, and he will set it on the table and say, the heir of House Lyrander is just now wrapping up, so you and your caravan should be able to meet with the prince in just a moment. I'm sure His Majesty is eager to hear. And he kind of like pauses for a second and goes, what you've encountered.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting story.
I'm sure we are all looking forward to it.
No.
He goes, and he nods to you, and he goes, Master Devandi, and nods to Danner and goes, Master Sornath, as he sort of sets
Cogsworth,
down
just a moment.
right next to you.
Yeah, could you say Master Devandi again?
Of course, Master Devandi.
I loved it. Even better the second time.
Yes, Cogsworth, just a moment here, and he's going to hold up a small piece of the, probably just like a little piece of
Mustache?
metal like he's roughing out a mustache he's going to make, but he just holds it up to Cogsworth's face just to get the measurement correct. Like, all right,
And
that'll do.
you will. It's weird to say that you see any expression on his face because, I mean, it doesn't move all that much, right? Like it moves, but it's like a normal person who has just been Botoxed into oblivion. So there's not that much. There's not that much definition in like his eyebrows or anything. But he does seem to have a bit of excitement as you're like holding up metal because you're a Sornath. So he will bend over a bit and say, "Oh, of course. What would this be?"
It's going to be a mustache that I think you'll like, based on the styles I've seen you have. I'll leave it as a surprise, though. So
I'm looking forward to it. And he can stand basically just stock still while you like sketch on the little ingot and figure out what's going on.
So basically, yeah, he's going to get a pilot one ready for when he builds the proper one with enough time and stuff.
Yeah. And then he'll once you've sort of sketched it all out, he'll nod to you again and say, "I must go check on His Majesty. I'll return when he's finished." And then he leaves again.
As soon as he leaves, Delian starts taking out the tiger pelt from him. He's like, "This is so heavy."
Oh yeah, because like if it's too heavy, it's like you're carrying it, huh?
Yeah, the weight is still transferred.
That is,
Oh,
God, that
here,
is
let me-
nonsense.
I'll hold it for a moment. Where's Wright? He should be in here with us.
Wrighton will be here.
A giant. I always knew this is how it would end.
I actually, I might have laughed too loud. I'm so sorry. That was just so alarming.
As a
I
giant
see.
falls in and kills Forsten and Delian.
It was just
Oh,
like
God.
my favorite token on a mass scale.
He's a big man, Claire's Wrighton.
Apparently.
I see you've brought the full size Raiden.
Wrighton will mostly just be, checking out things in here. Like he's just walking around and hands in his pockets. Every now and then he removes one to check something. Seems more interested in the drapes than a normal person would be. Checks out the carpet, that sort of thing. Because of course, like none of this was built with Syrian aesthetics in mind. This was a more or less dilapidated noble's house, which was kind of rebuilt. So it's it's nicely furnished, but it's not Syrian nobility nicely furnished. It's very much like it looks like somebody bought like, this is the most expensive thing at the IKEA.
That's a couch.
That's
Probably a couch.
That's a couch. And after another 15 minutes, Cogsworth will walk in and say, Master Sornath and Devandi.
No master, huh?
Well, it was Masters Sornath and Devandi. Still included.
There it is. Oh, good. Thank you.
His Majesty is ready to see you and your group now, if you would like to follow me.
Well,
I'll go get the others.
Oh,
And,
Delian, you get the others.
and
Yeah.
Cogsworth will lead you all up here.
Can Charut bring tea?
Of course. In fact, allow me to grab the tray, and he'll carry the tray in for you, and he'll set it on the table up here.
Quintus, do you want the closer seat?
No, you're fine.
And when you get in, Orgev looks he looks like he's had a couple of pretty long nights. He's got some dark circles under his eyes. He's sort of got his circlet on, but the circlet is a little like off, not sort of like off to the center as in it's above one eye or the other, but it's like off center as in it's not sitting precisely how it should be, because he's kind of got one elbow on the table and he's resting his hand or his head in his hand, and it's just sort of pushing the circlet up. And so when you enter and he sits in, it just doesn't settle back down. And as you enter and Cogsworth puts down the tray, he will walk over and whisper to Orgev, and then you'll see Orgev sort of reach up and recenter his circlet, look at all of you and say, "You've returned. I must admit, we were expecting you some weeks ago."
We were waylaid by unforeseen circumstances.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yes. The details, unfortunately, whatever this situation was, the details of it are... Just, you have more insight into this particular issue. You might be able to articulate it more accurately than I.
Okay. So there's in my head, Quintus probably has a number of code words for
Okay.
situations that potentially could happen in the face spire that he was chilling in, just as a report.
Yeah.
Suspicion of like mental entanglement is likely on that list given the nature of the Fae.
Sure.
So Quintus is going to turn and say, he says, "The rook is not in its nest."
And
Odd
he
thing to
and
say.
he sort of nods and looks to Cogsworth. Cogsworth, whose hand has just kind of gone into the little pouch that he carries at his side, and Orgev says, "How severe?"
Hyman Star Lasker was successful and clear. It isn't until we get further south that we find that
It was sometime after exile, but sometime before Jacker's Neck. But we have no inclination as to where specifically it occurred.
But it clearly must have been the effect of the Oramite.
Yes, it must have
Definitely
been the
aura.
Oramite.
It must have been the
Definitely
Oromite.
Oramite.
It must have
Yes,
been the
yes.
Oramite.
And like,
Wow.
So at this, what you will all see is Orgev's eyes go a little like he kind of crooks one eyebrow up, and Cogsworth pulls out a quartet of wands and just starts tapping him gently on the shoulder with them, mumbling to himself. And Orgev says, "I see. And this Oramite, the one who it must have been, can you tell me what this creature has done?" Creature?
Yes.
Or is
I
this a
can
title?
actually show you what the Oromite has done. And Dandrin will excuse himself and go bring in Gever's bones.
at this point, Quintus is going to pull out his sketchbook with its little page, the little ribbon that denotes a page, and he's like, "These came from somewhere. They are unpleasant at best to look upon."
And yeah, so he will look at them, and you pass him the pages, and he flips through them, and he says, "You encountered chitons on the road."
It would be difficult to say, as the details are all a bit unfirm. What we know in broad strokes,
Very.
and so vaguely that I am uncertain if it was the influence of the Ormite,
Oh, yeah. The
which it must
Oromite.
have been.
Must have been.
Must have been the Ormite.
It must have
Must-
been the Oramite.
Must have been Oramite. Yes.
Must have been the Oromite. Dandrin says
Man.
as he comes in holding a big, like, blanket folded up and gently, he motions to make sure, it's okay, he can set it down here.
And Orgev will say, "Please," and he'll stand from the table and sort of move away.
And Dandrin will, methodically lay out Gever's bones and reveal them.
Yeah.
This is the
And-
skeleton of Gever, one of the mercenaries we traveled northward with.
Is this the fate of all the mercenaries you traveled northward with?
Oh, Gever stayed
I mean-
behind on the way north, and on our return south at some point, we found his bones like this. And he's going to look at Orgev dead in the eyes and he'll say, "And it must have been the Oromite."
It must have. It must have been
Must
the
have.
Ormite.
He
Must. Yes.
It must have been the
It must
Ormite.
have been the Oramite.
This is hell.
As Dandrin says that, he's going to move his circle, move his finger in a circle, and because he can't say it out loud, but he's going to try and make motions of
Well, hold on.
please be
Only Lumio and Quintus know that this is a compulsion. The rest of you
Yes.
just believe that it was the Oramite.
Here's the thing. It happens in sync every time. And multiple times last week, I'm like, why is everyone saying it like that
Yeah,
every
that's true.
time? So he's just going to, so he doesn't know it's compulsion, but he's going to be like, this is weird. He doesn't understand, but he knows something is unusual.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're kind of pointing at the room and saying this happens, and
And this happens every time. It must have been the Oromite.
It must have been the
Must have been
Oromite.
the
it
Oromite.
must have been the Oramite.
Must have been Oramite.
And the
That's
prince will nod, and he will say, "Yes, that nest very much is empty. We will need someone to look into this. I'm sorry about the mercenary, but honestly, in this situation, he may be better off than he would be if he had lived. A chiton of this level of power is, well, the curse of the golden bones is one thing. Living with it is something altogether different.
It's
It
interesting
it
that you
makes,
say that.
It makes those afflicted with it very sick, and eventually the radiance can fully burn out their eyes."
Quintus puts a palm on the table and just looks forward seriously, and he says, "Well, it's good that all of us know what lay in store."
I sense I may have erred here in assuming that your friend was the only one afflicted.
He was
Yes.
afflicted well before us with whatever the Oromite did.
Yeah. If I may, everybody, just be aware, doing something, and then he casts Sphere of Darkness.
And we all glow slightly in the darkness.
Okay. So yes, and the faces of everybody at the table except for Claris and Lumio are
There's
just
just pitch
brightly
black
glowing.
seats.
And it's like it's enough that you can make it out in the like basically you guys glow enough that like your square is pretty like brightly illuminated even if you're not casting light outside of that. And you'll hear Orgev go, I see. And at the same time as he says this, you'll hear Cogsworth go, Master Devandi, cease your magic, please.
Oh yeah, it'll go away.
And
Like he's not gonna focus on making it anything more than that.
And like once your darkness fades after the round, you see Cogsworth has a pair of wands with sort of spiraling shafts and then this like almost like pistol kind of grip pointed at you.
Oh, how could okay. He just like gives the thumbs up, doesn't even like it is what it is. He's just acting on impulse.
And he says, Master Devandi, I understand that in your mind you gave adequate notice. This was not adequate notice, as we were not able to prepare before you acted upon it. Please understand that you are in the presence of royalty, and such a moment might prove to be the moment that an assassin strikes, or it might be the moment that some other accident or misfortune could befall this house and his person.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yep, just wanted to... It's easier to show than to say.
I understand. Your example is welcomed. Further prudence on action would be welcomed as well.
All right, I'll try.
And yeah, you guys see that like Orgev isn't a slouch. He's in the back and he's kind of like got his hand on his sword that he hasn't fully drawn yet. Cogsworth was definitely ready for something. And as things look like they have calmed down, Orgev will once again switch with Cogsworth. And Orgev says, this is serious and we'll have to reach out and see what we can do about getting someone here to help all of you. I will let you know that I will attempt to do what I can to cover costs of such things, but a chitin of this level of power, the magic required is sometimes prohibitively expensive, and this was not an expense that I assumed would be coming in the coming days, weeks, or months. So you may have to work it off a bit. Not to me, but to whoever we can find capable of removing such a curse.
That you are so kind as to lend your benefit to us is, I think, more than enough. If we must work or earn the ceasing of this curse, then so be it. That you aid us in simply finding someone who can help would be greatly appreciated.
Fucking Eric, stop. just keep seeing you tracing like geometric things on the map. This is
not the we've led, of course, with the worst information. This is not the most the least we've brought back.
Yes, I was hoping that you were apparently a bad news first sort of person.
Better to get it out of the way.
Well then, let's get on to the good news. What do you have?
Our ambassador was able to successfully make the purchase of the mine, which opens up a large variety of opportunities, making use of that coterminous zone. The manifest zone is particularly notable, and now falls within your ownership.
Good.
This is important and useful and maybe beneficial in terms of feeding the city and otherwise finding useful trades and serving as a boon. But there's additional progress that we've made. Do you have a map by chance?
I do. And he will, and he says, do you want city, region, or country, continent?
Let's start with region. I specifically Breland and Thrain.
Okay.
And Dargoon, importantly.
He will pull you to the same map that I was going to use no matter what you said, because it's the only one I got.
Excellent.
And he pulls out a map of basically this area in like a big square. And he can have Cogsworth sort of put it on the table. He goes, Cogsworth will say, Master Sornath, if you could please move our mercenary friend's remains. And then he'll sort of outline the map and put a couple stones on it to hold it down.
Well, I don't want to belabor the obvious, so I'll skip most of it. The rail line runnings, light rail lines lightning rails running through Star Alaska. Currently, Sterngate to Star Alaska is a main arterial and is, to some extent, positioning much of the wealth of Zilargo into Star Alaska's pocket. While we couldn't negotiate for a connection to that line or redirection, what we have gotten more interestingly is a direct line to New Seer, which then allows us to head east to Kenrun. Now, this hasn't gone much further than that as far as negotiations, but if we're making the effort already and are able to get the line over to Kenrun, what this positions us to do more capably than any other line is bring civilization to Dargoon. I realize that Gorgonhorn and Skull Reeve are potentially problematic, but the benefits of bringing the line south, potentially all the way down to Rook and Drawl, would be significant. Dare say, different, but potentially as valuable as the lines running into Zilargo itself.
And he nods and he says, "Bring civilization to a land that we lost." And he will say, I am not my mother. I have no cause or real qualms with the Dargle. I do not expect that I will be ever reclaiming Southern Seer from them, not with the current strength of what forces or army I can muster. If we could see them as allies, that would be one thing. At the moment, that is a hard thing to see, since many of the Margul tribes of the mountains are still attacking Kinrun, or even Gorgonhorn to enslave Syrian refugees. I know that Lesh Haruk of Rukandral has officially outlawed slavery in Dargoon, Rukandral being the capital of Dargoon. And he says, but it would take a level of enforcement that I'm not sure he's willing to put forward at this point, since he's still consolidating his power from the various scattered tribes. Getting us a line to Kinrun is beneficial. South to Gorgonhorn and further into Rukandral may be a problem, but more importantly, getting New Seer on the line is important and of benefit. Tanaya Irtadian mentioned that you were working on something of note. This does seem to be of note.
It does mean that we'll need to work to increase our presence in Star Alaska. And that city is a hive at best. But I think that the potential of bringing down supplies in order to build up New Seer and make alliances to potentially move into Dargoon with trade, if not with civilization, I think opens up a significant amount of value along that line.
Well, I will start working with Hasdul, Rayron, and Morshan to begin planning for this. I assume that we'll also have to meet with our Orion heir. And he goes, the Orion heir. We haven't seen her in some time. Cogsworth, do we still have the same Orion heir in town? And Cogsworth will nod and say, yes, sir, it's... yes, your majesty, it's Lila Dorian. And he goes, still Lila then. We'll be working with her to see what we can do to speed this along. I would want it constructed as soon as possible. Not necessarily this Siren to Kinrun leg of it, but the Star Alaska to New Seer is vital. And so he will basically take a pin that doesn't seem to have like a nib. It sort of just looks like a pin that's like blunted, and he will draw this line on the map and just like circle this bit, and like that he plans on getting to it later. And he says, well then, at the base of the mountains we have a manifest zone that produces an endless supply of cool water. We are potentially going to be able to rejoin the world as something of a, well, not necessarily a trade hub, but at the very least we will connect ourselves to the trade hub that exists in Brayland. Well, this was definitely worth it.
Nothing else. I think that Boronel will see the connection as some positive movement towards Seer reestablishing goodwill. and potentially something that he can work to piggyback on. He was kind enough to offer us this land, but I think showing him an indication that he'll have a wealthy, or at least moving towards wealthy trade partner, will go a long way towards repaying that.
Yes, and we're doing what we can to stay close to the king. I have recently sent, and then a few weeks later received, my cousin from his court, and I hear they got along well. If there's one thing that Bornell loves more than anything, it's the brash, the bold, and the bastards, and Hasdul is all three.
There is one final thing that piece of good news, benefit, not of the same import, but still beneficial nonetheless. And at this point, Quintus gestures across the table. It says, "This man is Clarice Wrighton."
And Clarice will nod and say, "Your Majesty, I apologize for it taking me so long to rejoin the Sirens here in the settlement. I must say it took me some years to learn the way that the Talenta do business, and then to be able to mimic enough of their own work to earn my way on an airship over the mists. But I am glad to be back at your side, and with your permission," and he will nod to you, Delian, because you had the bundle. He says, "The group has come upon something that we feel would suit you as a regal raiment, if you would permit me to work on it." And he will sort of unfurl the tiger skin, and you see that like Orgev gets kind of a set face and nods, like this is appropriate. Cogsworth less so, and he says, "I was thinking perhaps a mantle or a cape, though we could do something else that would be appropriate to mark you as not just royalty, but royalty of Seer in Brayland." And I was thinking something in the Siren cut, but of course using the ghost tiger hide. And Orgev will say, "What is the Siren cut these days? We have had little in the way of advancements in our finery. Our people have more or less lost their art." And Clarice will shake his head and say, "Not lost, Your Majesty, merely misplaced, and I plan to help them find it. Quintus here has agreed to help with where he can."
I may not have the same contacts that I once did, but I still have a few tricks up my sleeve, things that hadn't quite made it to the show floor, as it were.
Yes, the Jewel of Galifar is smaller, but no less brilliant, and we will make it shine. And Orgev just doesn't really pull his eyes from the hide as he nods. And
Is that a thing I can sense motive? He seems kind of oddly distracted.
yeah, go ahead and sense motive on it.
I will absolutely do that.
There's clearly a lot going on there. This is a very kingly kind of thing. And wearing something made of it could cause a lot of problems, and he seems to be both ready for and accepting of, but also hesitant of all of that. He's just kind of this would be proper. I suppose I will do it.
Fair.
And then he will look to you, Lumio, since you're the one who's kind of bearing a spear with a flag on, you're the standard bearer. And he says, "And you, Lumio, it looks as if 2 of your number are missing. Can you explain to me what happened with Zeract and with Lyre?
Questionable and
Did they perish?"
despicable, but not totally perished. Just beyond our reach at the moment. To simplify things a great deal, in our endeavors, we met an old acquaintance of Lyre's, who is one that you may or may not, depending on your fortune, have heard of, known as Eberron Actual. He was something of an underlord or boss in, excuse me, my old robot lungs. Something of a underlord in, oh god, and now I've blanked on the name.
Seer.
Starlasker.
No, I'm talking about his former job.
Oh, he was a crime boss in Metrol, which was the old capital.
Thank you. Yeah. He was somewhat of a crime boss or an underboss of Metrol, and somehow escaped the morning with several of his own, and decided to set up shop in Star Slasker. He's been gaining power there for some time and coveted Liar quite fiercely.
So you're saying that,
As simplified as it may be, he's taken possession of Liar.
and he looks to Cogsworth, and Cogsworth like kind of nods and says, to rephrase, someone on a mission for the prince was kidnapped.
That is exactly as I have stated, or intended to.
Just making sure we understand each other. Thank you, Master Lumio. We will look into this where we can, see what we can find out.
Thank you. To continue of the report, Zeract, and I shall be reporting this to Aldous shortly, has taken up residence underneath Star Slasker. There is something of another rift there that needs minding, and has taken themselves to put it delicately, ownership of it. But it is not quite correct to say that the druids have a different way of viewing things.
Well, if she feels that her duty to that was more important than her duty to her kin here, then there is little that we can do to change her mind, I'm sure. Zeract was among us, but never truly one of us. She was from the Reach, and fact was, she cared only for the plight of any shifters here, regardless of if that plight existed or not. You will hopefully note that by her request, I have done what I could to include Clawtown, the district of Clawtown, into Nucia proper by cobbling the road and by taking a few of the buildings and making them more permanent, less holes in the ground with burlap tents, and more actual buildings with stories, roofs, hearths. I've started with all the gathering places, and I will continue to do so until it feels as if my promise to her has been fulfilled, though we are hearing some rumblings from Three Tents, and he pauses and he goes, from the district of Three Tents, and we'll need to be doing similar work there soon. So I am saddened to hear that she is not returning, but hopefully she is finding what she's looking for.
I believe
For
that
the rest of you, in the coming months, weeks, potentially years, I will be needing more work similar to the kind that you have been doing, and you seem a capable and functional group to be doing it. If that work is here at home, I may call upon you. You will be rewarded for such. But if that work is out in the field, there are fewer people that I can send, and those who would be willing have the potential to be very obvious and very destructive. And, like, as if to emphasize his point, Cogsworth says, Master Stalwart will do basically anything that anyone requests of him, but everyone will know that Master Stalwart is doing it. If you catch my
Lumio chuckles, but it's very robotic.
running, laugh, dot, MP4.
Ha, 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 ha.
Oh,
Ha.
you funny man. And Orgev says, I believe there is some benefit to having you all in retainer, as it were. Any who would like to do so. And if you would, please inform us at some point. It does not have to be now. And if you wouldn't, similarly, just inform us of such. And at this, Tertia will sort of stand up and go, look, Your Majesty, I'm not really interested. I was doing what I was doing only to earn enough coin to start a proper Tago studio. So now that I have it, that's what I'm going to be doing. And Orgev says, I can respect that. The pursuit of art is a Siren pursuit at its core. But for the rest of you, please think on it and get back to me in the next few days if you are interested.
Well, you well know that my service was not to your mother, but to your line, due to the interesting nature of my work. That hasn't stopped. That we find ourselves in a new place doesn't change the binding oaths of obligation.
And he'll nod and he'll say, in that case, number one, actually, yeah, he would call you Quintus. He would say, number one, Quintus, thank you. And number two, you will likely want to speak to Hasdal. Should aught happen to me, she is the next, and, well, last of the line, and there are some caveats to that, as I've said before, but she would be the closest. With that, I want to thank you all. Your payment, as it were, will be coming to all of you, save Master Sornath, in the form of hand-built by the masons here in town, permanent dwellings. I hope that is acceptable to all of you. You need only to pick a spot that is not built upon yet, and I will note that in this case, if that spot has a tent on it, the tent does not count as being built upon. We will reward any who choose to vacate their spot for those who directly serve the crown. Please let me know if you've found something, and we'll send a surveyor with you to get a proper location. Master Sornath, for you, I have assumed that you would be successful once we heard from Ambassador Irritaden that you were on your way, and having little to reward you with, since there was already a smithy for your family, we have increased our contract with your family. The bond between House Sornath and the Siren branch of House Irwinarn is long and legendary, going back nearly to the beginning of Galifar, and it will not end any time soon. You have my word on that.
Glad to hear that, Your Majesty. I would also like to say this time that should you have need of my services in the future, you shall have them. But I do request some time, as I have quite a backlog I must get to.
And he nods and actually smiles for sort of the first time, and he goes, "You are not the first Sornath to tell me that in as many days. Your sister has been in here nearly every day asking for progress on your location. So I assume that backlog is quite sizable indeed."
I fear it is likely so.
And he'll nod to all of you and say, "Well then, with my requests made, I believe we can end this. I want to thank you all for your work, and I look forward to working with you again. Until tomorrow." And Cogsworth will sort of mimic the "until tomorrow."
All right. Andrew will wrap up the skeleton.
Yeah.
Sharut will snag one too many pastries, just like a little bit too much.
I like that one of Sharut's primary personality traits is apparently people in Dargoon don't have sugar, and he's being introduced to it for the first time, and it's fucking blowing his mind. He's just like, wait, hold on. You used wheat. You used the precursor to bread to make cake? Are you a fucking wizard?
Look, they eat mushrooms and bread and drink water. It's not a very, very diverse palate.
So what do you eat at home? Efficient things? Jesus Christ, man.
Sometimes fish, if you're lucky. Maybe some meat, but there's not a lot. Not a lot.
For God's sake, she can be efficient and pretty.
But this.
All right.
Dandruff will politely take a cup of tea and just be like, "It's good."
Yeah. So
It specifically takes none of it.
everybody can.
Julian actually adds rocks to it.
I like my tea on the rocks. Pours in a couple rocks. Perfect.
And as you add the rocks in your head, you hear mischief.
Yes.
And at that, I think we will go on a quick break, and we will be back at, let's say, 9:15.
Sounds good.
All right. And we're back from outer space. I'm sorry.
That look
It's just-
upon your face. Should have changed that.
Just
stupid
sad.
lock.
You should have
Sad look
changed
upon your
that
face.
stupid lock.
I should have made you
Thrown
leave
away
the
the
key.
key.
Look. Yeah, probably.
I have thought for just 1 second. All these white guys were singing.
Go on. Now go.
Well, the door.
I really like taking stupid song lyrics and just making them conversational like that. Go on. Now go. Go out the door.
Turn around now.
You're not
You're
welcome
not
anymore.
welcome anymore.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of people have some reports or catch-ups and that sort of thing that they want to do. So I'm going to start with Lumio up here in the top corner, heading up
Oh,
to
goody.
Cloudtown.
Mhm.
So, Lumio, what would you like to do?
I would like to speak to the Alpha Elder, Alder, in Alpha Elder Alder's Atelier, which I've heard is made of alder.
It is Alpha Elder Alder Atelier. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I would try to think of more words to do with that, but fucking why? It's bad enough as is. Okay, so yes, going into Clawtown, it does look like, since you're the first one to go, so yeah, they cobbled this whole road, and then you see that the Thrash House, which was previously basically a longhouse made of tents, is now built. Alder's Atelier is not built. However, there are numerous sort of like other longhouses or taverns or gathering places that are. The main one being the one that you've seen. So it just kind of, or that you've been to, Bogrock's, where, so it's like a good 2 or 3 stories now, and it kind of towers over everything but the trees, because everybody else has like a tent.
Yeah.
But yes, Alder does not have a permanent like dwelling. What Alder has is pretty much she has a tent that she sort of like sleeps in, and then a tent that she works in. And her work, when she's not doing kind of like community work, seems to be some sort of like not quite scrimshaw, but also not quite not scrimshaw. Like there's definitely some carving of bone in there, but it's more carving of wood with like bone sort of shit, like gilding, but not gilding. What would you call it?
Accoutrement.
Yeah, like bone accoutrements or bone embellishments. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
And so yeah, when you walk in the door, she's like you see her with like this small little file, and she's like got these glasses on that have these like lenses in front of lenses in front of lenses, and she's scratching at this little wood thing and using a pair of pliers to move some bone into place. And then she looks up and she goes, "Damn it. I thought I was going to be able to relax today." And she'll like put the tweezers and the little file down, and she takes off the glasses and looks at you and goes, "Lumio, haven't seen you in over a month now."
Indeed. Not since I ventured north.
Glad to see that
With
you're back.
Zorak.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're back.
Lumio nods gently, in a half bow there. Indeed, I bring in news of Zorak, who did not return with us.
Did something happen?
Many things, but not death, per se. She is different now, and has given herself a task.
She's given herself a task.
Lumio will give a kind of a quick description of their journey, of the encounters that they had along the way, and then the inevitable tasking of Zorak to protect the portal or the manifest zone underneath Star Slasker.
And she'll nod and say, well, that does sound important. And, well, she was always a free spirit. No one would ever begrudge her staying somewhere she thought she could do some good. So
that is as apt a description as I've ever heard of Zorak.
That's how the Reachers are. There's too much reach and not enough people that live in it. So you either grab your own little piece and you're fiercely protective of it, or you wander from piece to piece. She seemed like a wanderer to me. Not that we talked much.
Mm-hmm. I have some belongings that Zorak parted to us to return, that they might benefit those here. I'm not sure that the others might have some other items that she divulged to them. She changed her opinions of people very frequently while we were traveling. And Lumio provides all that he has.
And she'll like sit there and go through it with you, and she says, "All right, I'll have to get this down on paper." And she will basically write down 2 sheets that say what you've given her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll sign both of them, and she'll look to you to sign the other ones.
And I do so, or make my mark on it.
And she says, "Typically when somebody gives me money to put towards Clawtown, I like to make sure that they know where the money is gone. So as soon as it's all spent, I will give you a series of receipts."
That is incredibly detailed. Thank you.
Well, you tends not to make it as a freelance artist unless you're good at keeping details in your ledgers. Otherwise, every noble you come across just rips you off. And, well, I want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm on the up and up as much as I can. If Bogrock or anyone else was here, I'd be giving them a copy too. Thanks for telling me. I'm still trying to process that she chose to stay in a manifest zone to Recia instead of coming here. But like I said, she was of here, but not from here, if that makes sense. She identified more with the struggle than the people, I think. Or maybe with the people more than the struggle.
Zorak kept her intentions very close to her own intentions.
Yeah, I'll miss her. I hope she comes back.
It is not a impossibility. I shall depart to leave you to your things and to your work. If you ever have need of me, I am most happy to assist. We will be working with Orgev to hopefully increase the prosperity of Clawtown and eventually Three Forks and all of New Seer to that end.
The roads and the buildings have done a lot, so anything else that's happening be appreciated. And she'll like stand and shake your hand and hand you the sheet if she hasn't already. And then she says, if you ever decide that you would rather have bone details than metal, let me know. I can make something for you.
That is not Actually, I will dwell upon that decision, and I may return to you with a request at some point. Thank you for the offer. Your work is highly detailed and therefore sought after.
It's nice to hear you say it, but it's also just factual.
I apologize. That is most of the way I am told I compliment people. It is an art that is somewhat lost on me.
I think it's the inflection. Maybe work on the inflection a bit.
Thank you. I will do so. The most recent thing I've been trying to inflect is how to say the same sentence different ways. It has not gone well.
That sounds like a Forge thing. I don't really know if I can help you with that.
You are, probably do you know any magic casters? And he'll briefly discuss the mental issue, and we can let the scene end when he discovers there's probably not much here.
Yeah, like what she knows are what they have available, which are basically like low-level mage rights or low-level like adepts or druids. She does not know anybody that's capable of doing what you want her to do, which is either one, remove the compulsion, or two, fix the glowing bones. So I don't know if you tell her about the glowing bones, but she doesn't know anybody that can remove the compulsion.
I think finding the answer to the compulsion is going to be on the direction to the glowing bones. So the compulsion is enough to understand, especially since it affects him.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And from there, we will go to Sharut.
Sharut. Yes. So he walks into the tent. I know Darlal is probably there. Is Rytiel there as well, or is he still likely at the clinic?
So when you walk in, Darlal is there. Rytiel is, you don't see him. Like, he's not in the same tent as Darlal is. But yeah, Rytiel will look up and say, Sharut, you have returned.
You mean Darlal?
Or sorry, yeah, Darlal will look up and say, Sharut, you have returned.
Yes, and I bring something of great interest.
Before he goes too far into the tent, he's gonna make sure that the flaps like actually close, right? If they're like tied open or anything, he's gonna make sure that they're closed.
Okay.
And he's going to he's gonna walk in and he's gonna pull basically what he has wrapped in leather and like gingerly put it onto the ground, and then very, very, very gingerly unfold it to reveal the spear.
And she kind of looks at it and says, "Is this it?
Yes,
The spear of Prednant Calders survives."
it does indeed survive.
And he kind of just places his hand on top of it.
It was very challenging to obtain.
And she holds a hand up, and she will sit down at the little desk that she has in her tent. And she like starts moving some stuff aside and gets a stack of paper, and she gets an inkwell, and she takes a pin out, and she fills it from the inkwell, and she says, "Speak. Leave out no details."
Sharut will basically regale her with everything that happened, not necessarily everything that happened in Starlasker, because it's not relevant, right?
Yeah.
But from the moment he found out where he was supposed to look and the information that he and the party gathered, and the adventure down into the caves, basically just going beat for beat for that journey into the city, the underground city.
And you can actually like kind of even give some insight into why the why his whole empire, his piece of the empire fell. And it's because he has like sent off all of the pieces of him, all of his like artifacts. He only kept the spear, and then he was adding sort of other demonic vestiges to himself in order to be able to like try to get back the power that he was sending out. And he swore himself to draw couture, and it's like all of these things that have put little puzzle pieces into place. And she will occasionally ask you to elaborate and like give more, but she doesn't ever really interrupt you unless she's asking for more detail.
As he's talking to, he'll probably like flip open his journal and like pull loose pieces of paper out and just point to like sketches that he took while he was down there. Is like, this was the basically the visage of the city as I walked in, and then also, well, this is what the frickin' Dargul looked like, and it was goddamn terrifying. And make note of the creatures and the artifacts that he found. So he'll like set down basically like the three little dolls that he got from Delian, or three little sculptures he got from Delian.
Yeah.
As he continuing to explain just the course of the journey.
And she will go over everything that you explain. You are doing this well into the night. Like this is you are talking to the point where you are thirsty and hoarse, and you eventually will take probably a break to just slug back some water and some food real quick, and then continue talking until you start to see well, actually, once it hits nighttime, Raitio will come into the tent, and he will look to you and say, "Ah, Sharut, you have returned." And he looks very like done up. He looks like a city goblin. He is dressed in sort of like Siren clothing that's appropriate for his size. He has left behind a lot of the clothing of the catch that you and Darlal still wear. He's like got his stringy hair kind of smoothed back, and he's got a pair of spectacles just sort of resting on his nose with no real arms from them. They're just sitting there. And he says, "How was your journey?"
Eventful. I was just sharing it with Darlal now.
Ah, well, if you're sharing it with her, I would hate to make you start at the beginning. I will read it once you are finished.
It is of note, though.
And he motions towards the spear.
And he goes, "Ah, a fine discovery. I'm sure it will bring you much glory and honor."
One can hope.
Moot and Acha for you, Sharut. And he kind of like slaps his chest with a fist, and he stands forward and like grasps you with one shoulder. And he's like a strong little guy. And he goes, "It is good to see you again, but I have friends that I must be meeting."
We will catch up later. It is good to see that you are in better health.
"I have never felt better, Sharut. Good to see you again." And he like nods to Darlal and says, "Darlal?" And then just leaves. And that's kind of when you like take your break to eat your meal, and then you're just going, and you're just talking to her for a long time. Around like daybreak or so is when you start getting just tired of talking. And sometime around then, like Rytiel will come in and say hello to both of you and tell you that he's going to bed. And it's been an eventful night. And she will look over her notes and say, I will read this again in the morning, and I will come to you if there are any details that still need to be examined. But
I will be happy to provide them to the best of my ability.
I will...
He's a little distracted, say.
And he says, I will likely be, or she says, I will likely be leaving sometime over the next few days with the spear to take it back to Ketch Valar. The pouch, though, I question taking that back. The spear is a sign of power that someone leading an army should have. But the pouch is meant to be an adventurer's tool. I think I will take it with me, but I may be returning with it.
If you do return with it, there are people in the party that could potentially make use of it.
Of course. Should they perish, it does not go to their family. And if it does, their family may also perish.
This has been made clear.
Good. And then she goes, well, if you will, it was a pleasure to see you, but we have been talking for over a dozen hours, and my hand is cramped. I would like to massage it and go to bed.
My lips are tired. I must also sleep.
Lips are tired. I must massage them and go to bed.
My hand... My lips are tired. I must massage them and go to bed. In the goblin fashion, as is tradition.
Isn't that what you do when your lips are tired? Like, as a tradition.
All right. And then I will go over here to Delian.
All right.
So you head over to Malkin's house.
Good old Malkin.
Good old Malkin.
I'll knock twice and then immediately enter.
Yeah, sounds like you.
Yep.
Yeah, you knock twice and you immediately enter. So you enter basically in time to sort of catch him putting out the light. So as you enter, he's like has one of those the candle cappers on the stick, and he just reaches out and puts the bell over it. So you just for a second sort of barely make out his face before you just smell the smoke of the candle extinguishing.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, "Oh, you're back.
Here I am.
I thought you'd gotten cold feet and decided that this wasn't for you."
Oh, I got cold all right. And even cold feet, but nah, not for this. Entirely different reasons.
Well, that's good. Fulcrum said they had a good read on you, and
okay,
it's
that's good.
Well, there's, as I mentioned to you, this thing that you were on was not just you doing a task; it was you proving a point. With the point being that you deserve to do additional tasks.
Yeah, to make sure, like, to cement my place. I gotcha.
Yes. So, you saved Yelphus. Apparently that had gone bad. And you managed to get him and the stone where it needed to be.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm consistent if nothing else.
You would be surprised at how rare and worthwhile consistency is.
And that's why I try to make a point to be that.
I'm not much, but what I am a lot.
I am so much. And so, in the point of consistency, and just, this is just, I'm not gonna, theoretically, I have gained, well, in actuality, I have gained the power to control light. So, should I cast light into the room, what would happen?
And he goes, so when you say that, he goes, the power to, is that why your skeleton seems to be glowing underneath your skin?
No, trust me, I wouldn't want this even if I did control light. But I can make my eyes glow. I can make anything glow. No, this is something that has a lot more to it. I don't want a glowing skeleton. It kind of negates the all of my skills.
And he says, okay, my mark is not quite as controlled as yours. I don't, similar to Yelphus, I don't have the ability to turn it on and off at will.
Yeah.
It is always on. It is always active, whether you can see it or not, unlike Yelphus's. Should you cast light into this room, everything outside of a small area of me, usually 10 feet, but occasionally up to 20, will begin to lose all of its color and become somewhat grayscale.
Oh, that's fun.
Everything that becomes grayscale will then remain brittle and easily broken over the course of the next 2 to 3 days until it is able to retain its color or regain its color.
So, you're telling me I could. Well, I don't want to. I could make your next couple days just annoying.
I would ask that you don't.
I'm not going to.
I think that what you're doing is just trying to inconvenience me. As you cast light about yourself, I will just move close to you and watch the bleaching happen on you.
No, like, that's not what I want. It's just, there's some satisfaction in knowing that it played out in my head how I pictured it, and now I don't have to do it. It's great.
Ah, got you. Yes, like I said, the things are typically easily broken, but in time they will, the effect does stop.
Okay.
And he asks, like, how your trip to Starlasker went, and, you know, like...
I'm going to tell a very different version than everybody else in the party.
Are you, like, the hero of the story?
No, I'm going to say it was hell.
Oh, so you're making it out to be like, look, man, you didn't send me on some beginner's mission.
Well, it was just like, it was a beginner's mission, and then it took a nosedive.
I was supposed to get a stone, and I did. And that was step 1, and steps 2 through 85 were a nightmare.
We're absolutely... the cold feet bit? True!
Yeah, and he will tell you that they definitely expected you back a while ago because and he says, I don't want you to be alarmed, but Pela was watching you, the woman who works with Fulcrum.
Oh, okay.
And she saw you leave the city nearly 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were definitely expecting you back before that. Like I said, we thought that you got cold feet, but
No, I think we lost time and ended up kind of like in like a memory lapse sort of thing, and then I ended up with a glowing skeleton. I'm not really sure, but it was obviously the Amorite.
The Auramite.
That one. Whatever.
What's an Auramite?
Here, I can. Well, I'll describe it to you, and then I just describe what it is.
Yeah,
because if I remember right, I knew what it was.
Yeah, you described like a tiny golden man wearing like a sort of golden loincloth, and you're like, it's an Auramite, and he's like, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, trust me. The fact that the knowledge plopped into my head is also just as ridiculous. Why would I keep the knowledge of a tiny golden man in a loincloth?
I suppose so. And you like, and every time he asks you anything about it, and it's just, well, why would I even do this? Well, it must have been the Auramite.
Yeah, it must have been the Auramite. Like, this is a thing that the Auramite must have done.
I don't understand, but I'll believe you on this. In light of your successes, there may be more work coming your way. Potentially even full membership, though you'll need to meet with somebody a bit higher in the pecking order than I am.
Oh.
So I can arrange for that.
Crazy.
I can arrange for that if you would like.
Yeah,
just know that membership in our house is not... It's not necessarily something that will buy you a lot of favors with the local populace.
Well, like local as in here?
Local as in, well, in New Seer, in Corvair, especially in Brayland.
Oh, well, I've always been on the down and out sort of thing anyway.
That is our curse, is it not? All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I will... And he kind of pauses, and he goes, Wayrun has left. Yelphis has left. I will be sending you in the morning to House Civis to send off a few letters.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
It's...
No ice caves or anything?
No, just courier work. In order to...
I can do that.
Get someone here to see if you're worth joining the house. For what it's worth, I believe that you are.
I would hope so.
And he says, well, as I said, Wayrun's out of town right now, and so is Yelphis. But Wayrun managed to stock the larder to full before she left. So if you'd like anything, feel free. Your room is still full. Or your room is still yours to do with as you please.
Oh, good. And it's not brittle or anything.
I have not been in it in some time.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah, I will do that, and that's where I'm gonna shack up for a little bit. It's been quite a weary day
I imagine so.
of 3 months.
Thank you again, Delian. And
Yeah.
like as you start to walk off, he'll like sort of like lean over and relight his little candle. And then you can, have some victuals and chill out in your room.
Cool.
And
Julian's definitely gonna do that. Cast darkness and lightness, and then do finger guns up in the air for no apparent reason.
Yeah, your room is just like a fucking strobe light for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, and Dandarin, mighty Dandarin.
And Andrew's just gonna walk in.
So
It's during the day, so I imagine the shop is open.
yeah, it's during the day. The shop is open. There's a couple people in there as you're entering. Uswin has rearranged a little bit to put like more of the finished goods towards the front and put like the workspace that's not outside by the actual forge in the back. But when you walk in, she will hand it to the person she's talking to, and she goes, she just hands them this pair of knives, and she goes, Naira, they're not on the house, but I'm going to open a tab for you. You take those. You decide if you want them. If you don't, bring them back. But for now, please leave. And the elven woman's holding these pair of knives and goes, this is weird. The Moorish never do this. And she goes, and this is why, because you're arguing. I'm giving you goods, and you're arguing. Just go. And the woman just kind of, okay, and just walks by you. And as soon as the door shuts, there's this, and where the hell have you been?
Not sure. Something happened in between Exile and Jackass Knack, and for the life of me, don't know. I do know is, and he's going to give a really precise time based on the wear of his armor.
Well, and like as you start talking, you're sort of just interrupted by your little sister just like tackle hugging you. And she goes, I had to make armor. I had to make bardishes and halberds. I had to make chain that was 457 feet precisely. And I don't know what it was used for, because when you have to make that much, you don't care.
Sorry for worrying you. It seems like you've done well enough. I'm very proud of you. I saw what you did for Wadsworth and his mustaches, or his mutton chops.
And
fine brushwork, Uswin.
And she kind of nods and like does this sort of thing where she's like looks off to one side and then the other and shrugs a little bit. She gets a little red in the cheek and she says, well, I want to make sure that he looks his best, if I can help him out with that.
Of course. I've promised to make him a mustache, and I've got some special materials I have to unload into the back from the wagon.
If you give him some long dwarven hanger, I am going to be very cross with you.
It's going to be a fine handlebar, twisted to perfection.
And she'll like
think
pause
it'll look quite
kinda,
dapper on his face.
She like kind of pauses and like looks up and she goes, oh, I could kind of see that on him. Yeah.
I think it'll be framed perfectly by the mutton chops.
Yeah. No, that could be good. Yeah, I'm sure he'd look great in that. Kellogg came by about 2 weeks ago looking for you. Wasn't looking for me. Damnable luck.
You say why?
But, no, just said he wanted to check on you. And then when I said that you weren't back yet, he seemed a bit surprised and decided that he was gonna, just cut the fat with me for a bit, and then he left. Didn't really come back after that. But is it and she goes, she like kind of looks at you and does this thing where she like turns her head to herself and just sniffs for a second. She goes, is it me? Am I just off-putting to dwarven men? Is that what it is? He's just so interested in you. And in Gruddick. All his questions. Nothing for me.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I can say this, even though I'm your dear brother, please know, make any dwarven man proud and happy to be his wife.
And she will, of course, ask you for the details and try to...
And Andrew will give it as exactly as possible.
So,
the sole exception of when that particular event happens, doesn't mention it. He's just like, I closed the door and we went on.
So here's the thing. You are able to do that, but you are able to do that with your very meticulous sister. And because of that, you find out a thing or two. you find out that you lost 3 weeks and 1 day. Because from what she can tell, based on what you're saying, the day that you left exile was the 7th, and the day that you arrived in Jacker's Knack was the 1st of Dravago. So you have basically, you've lost 3 weeks in 1 day. It is now, in case you were wondering, the 2nd of Dravago, 998.
Oh, that makes sense, given wear and tear I saw and everything.
And she goes, yeah, that looks bad. It looks like you sort of...
Oh, well, this is...
It's like you picked up something that hadn't been cared for in a while, and then decided to do what you could with it. It'll be a while till it looks serviceable again.
Well, the armor's not going to be for me anymore. We're going to sell it. I've got plans and materials for the project I had wanted. Originally, it would have been for the pair of us, Graddick and I, but, well, anyway.
My brother. Like, you say it at the same time as she does. It's you guys both go, my brother. And you just like, it's a cry that lasts precisely 5 sobs, and then you're done.
Simultaneously, and then back to business.
Yeah, then back to business. Not time
Anyway, I've got about, and I give the weight of the mithril and like all the stuff, and it's like, I've already got buyers for it. They're getting a discount, friends and family.
Well,
and aside from that, I've got a few other side items that I have to craft. I'll be pulling double shifts to make sure I take care of the regular business here during the day. Also, how much have you expanded the domain?
The project. Let's go with the project.
Project. Sound fine.
Well, at the moment we have an entry hall and 2 side rooms. I'm working on a 3rd.
Good. Do you mind if I expand out the vault area?
If you want, it might be better to go sort of northwesterly if you're looking to go. And I don't know if you should go down any farther. I'm getting the hint that below this, those wells in the town are going somewhere, and I'm thinking that there's some sort of river maybe underneath the town. We go too far down, we might tap into it.
Wouldn't want that.
We tap into it from the bottom, no big deal, but you tap into it from the side, and well,
yeah, all sorts of problems.
She is more than happy to let you become the lead blacksmith for the smithery again, because she didn't want to be the lead blacksmith. She's not that great a smith. She's very good by human standards and sort of average by dwarven standard. But she's more than happy to work as like a second to whatever you want to do. And you guys can get to work on that, and over the next couple of weeks as people start doing stuff.
At the end, though, it's like, what have you been doing with all the rock, by the way? Still taking those barrels out into the woods?
A barrel now and then, a wheelbarrow sometimes.
Right. Well, I figure I'm going to come up with a nice cover story for you, so I'm going to... Some nights I'm going to go out there and start putting together a home out there out of the stone you've been pulling out.
Oh.
Just make it say that it's your own little getaway that have just as a private place to get away from it all. That's where you go every morning.
And she says, well, I was actually speaking to a couple of the farmers and was talking about constructing proper hedge walls to keep in the livestock. Not quite a fence, but something that would last more than a fence would. They're thinking
see if
that
I can...
Orgev might move some things around, and well, you have a proper stone wall. It's a little bit harder to do that.
Hey, I'll see what can be done.
Yeah, so she's talking like basically those. Like, I don't know if you ever
Those
seen
stone,
those, like,
like
stone
3-foot high wall or whatever.
Yeah, like those things that they use to like demarcate land in like Ireland. Yeah, and the two of you, being dwarves, basically have a meal where you catch up and then get back to because there's money to be made and there's resources to mete out, and that is very much what Moorish dwarves care about.
Speaking of which, should I go ahead and roll for the first project?
Yeah, I believe now we're going to start. So while I explain how this works, let's go ahead and you give me your first roll for your first project. So what's your first project and how long does it take?
First project is going to be my masterwork mithril full plate.
Okay.
It is going to cost me out of pocket because the mithril is already provided. It's only going to cost me 742.5 gold. It is complex and masterwork and mithril, but I have the craftsman feature for blacksmithing. So the time unit would be 18 days. The craftsman feature I have for my talent reduces mundane items, which this is a non-magical item, so it is.
Yeah.
Half before I make any checks, so 9 days. DC is 26. Every 5 I exceed the check by, I reduce that by half of a time unit. But I
Are you
can
just
only do
gonna
that a maximum of twice.
Are you gonna crank out a fucking suit of plate mail in like a day and a half?
Maybe, I don't know. See.
Okay.
And then, is Uswin being my second?
Yeah, Uswin will be your second. So I will.
Oh, we'll see how it goes.
She is, like I said, she is not the blacksmith that you are, but she is enough to give you a plus
to
2.
assist. So anyway, I craft 4 days for that mithril full plate.
Okay, cool. So, for everybody, I'm assuming that all of you at some point tell Orgev, yeah, I'll help you out. I'll work with you a little bit. Otherwise, please let me know what your backup character is.
So sorry, John, that is 3 days.
Okay, sounds good. So we now have a calendar app in the game. If you go to the basic controls at the top left, with it's the little man, and then on the right column, it's all the way at the bottom. It looks like a calendar. If you click that open, you'll see a calendar.
Alternatively, a cooking pot.
We should be currently set to Dravago the 2nd, 998YK, which is today's date. So, yeah. So,
and I can put notes on it.
You can put notes on it. I have put some notes on it that you guys can't see. As I move forward on this, I'm going to say, hey, this event is happening, and you guys can either decide what to do with it, or you can decide to do nothing with it. The events are separated into 3 different categories. There are problems, there are opportunities, and there are advancements. A problem is something that probably should be addressed. Somebody should try to take care of it. Because if it isn't addressed, it counts as if it was a disaster. An opportunity is not something that has to be addressed, but if you do, it's good, and if you fail, it's bad. An advancement is something that is pretty much only good unless you roll like a disaster. So does that all make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So these are pure stat rolls. So you will be rolling and adding your stat modifier for every 5 levels you have, which at this point everybody has 5 levels. You add a +1. And so, for example, I believe Dandarin, your con is a 16, correct?
That's correct.
Cool. So, like, if Dandarin wanted to roll 1 using his con, he would roll a d20 and he would add 4. If you would like to use a favor that you have from an NPC, you can use a favor that you have from an NPC, and that will give you a +3. If you'd like to incur a debt with an NPC, and there are NPCs all over the town that you can do that with, that will also give you a +3, but then you will have a debt to them, and they can alter future rolls for you. If you would like to help someone else, you can do that. But if you do that, you are both counted as working on that project for the full time. And basically, one of you decides who's being the main person, and the other one rolls to assist. And if you get at least a 10, you've given them a +2. Everything makes sense so far?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool. So, we are starting on the 2nd. So, Dandarin starts building his item the next day on the 3rd. On the 3rd. So, on the first thing that's happens basically to everybody. It's going to be on the 6th. So, Dandarin, you can start building your second item.
Right. So the second item is going to be the same overall DC because it is the Masterwork Mithril Chain Shirt. This is Sharut's.
Okay.
A Sharut, this is going to cost you 937.5 GP.
You will have
which is
hat.
a significant.
I do not have the money after buying that hat.
So, House Sornath is more than willing to give you a line of credit at the nicest interest rate you could possibly imagine. In fact, Uswin is a licensed usurer.
I don't think that's a good idea. I do appreciate it.
Sharut, we're good friends. I know you're good for it.
And you just hear Uswin like, come on, It's good Sornath work. You'll not find this anywhere else.
Look at this plate mail I made in 3 days. He says, motioning to his masterful mithril full plate he's wearing right now.
Can
So
just push Sharut down in queue.
Okay.
Give time.
Right, in that case, I'll work on the masterwork mithril paint shirt for Delian.
Okay. So you can go ahead and roll. I will go over the 2 tasks that are happening on this. There is a problem and an opportunity that have shown up on this day.
So in 3 days, Delian's going to have a masterwork mithril chain shirt.
Yep. So I need you guys to keep track of the days. So currently we're on the 6th. Problem number 1, the first event is a problem of blood lung. So
Give me just a second. I'm going to grab something so that I can write stuff down to make sure I'm keeping track of it.
sure thing. And I will
I would
make
like
this
to point out-
one.
I will be right back.
Both of these should now be visible to everybody on the 6th.
Yep.
Ooh.
How do we add notes to things?
You should just be able to click a day and then click add new note. Can you not?
I don't see an option to add new note.
Okay.
Nor do I.
Hold, please. I might have to allow you guys to add notes. I will. I don't want to look that up now. I'll see if I can do it after the game. Okay.
Sure. No problem.
Cool.
I was just going to make a note because it would be easy to
Yeah.
add out stuff. Yeah.
All right. So,
I'm back.
I hope Justin's back.
I am back. Yes.
Cool. Event number 1 is blood lung. There's a terrible case of blood lung that's ripping through 3 tents. This is a disease that makes people like literally cough themselves to death. They will cough up blood until they don't live anymore. They need a doctor or
My
failing
robot
that,
lungs pop.
someone strong enough to help move the bodies and build the barricades to enforce quarantine. This is a roll using either strength or intelligence, and the trying to set this up and get everybody together where you need to, where you can like build some triage tents, will take you approximately 6 days.
Raw strength or raw intelligence?
Yep.
Can Lumio get help from Stalwart to do this? It seems like
If
the
you wanna,
two of us.
if you want to call in a favor from Stalwart, you can do that.
Yeah, the two of us being immune to the lung issues that most people have around here, weirdly, would be the best people suited to this. My int's pretty good. His strength is very good.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going to aim for it.
I feel like Sharut would probably also jump in on this.
Sounds
since
good.
he's
Which of you would like to
doctor.
be primary?
Or are you going to use int as the base? Because I was just going to use my int. My plus is +4.
No. Don't talk about your numbers. Which of you would like to
Yeah.
be primary?
I would
you're-
like to be primary because I'm a doctor.
Okay.
Alright.
That also makes sense. So you are primary. Lumio, I still need you to roll to see if you give Sharita +2.
Okay. So I'm just going to roll int.
So you roll your imp bonus +1
Okay.
because you're
Is that? Let's see here. Int.
okay.
and then-
You beat a 10, so you will be giving Sharita +2, and
There you
then
go.
you've called in a debt to Stalwart. So you will both please keep track of this. I will as well. You will both have 1 debt to Stalwart.
That's with a +2.
Okay.
Or sorry,
23.
yeah. So it should be 23.
Yeah.
Like it just click the button.
Yeah, and that doesn't even count the +3 that you're getting from Stalwart. So,
Oh, Lumio calls in the debt, and Sharut's already taken care of the problem.
so both of you, working together, the 3 of you have fixed this. Like I said, this will last you the next 6 days, so it will go until the 12th. And both of you have earned a favor from Western Essex. Western Essex fancies himself, and so do most of 3 Tents, as the sheriff of 3 Tents.
Oh, okay.
He is the guy that I believe you met before very briefly, who looks like an old like Western gunslinger, but instead of guns, he just has like quivers of wands.
Mm-hmm. It seems to be going around like a condition or something.
Yeah, it seems to be like a thing that people do here in the setting where wands are freaking everywhere. Event number 2 is the Irtane Gala. The Irtane Gala is happening in Sharn. The Irtane Gala happens on the 6th of every month in Sharn. The families of the 60 are the 60 noble families of Sharn, of Breland, They all have permanent invitations. Orgev is going and has received 5 invitations to give to notables of New Seer to go as well. He is happy to give 1 to your group, which is good for up to 2 people. And he's giving it to you to figure out what to do with this. Again, this is an opportunity. This does not have to be completed, but it's, if you want to, it's still something to roll for. Does anyone want to go to Sharn and hobnob with the nobles?
What's the duration of it?
The duration of this one is it's an 8-day trip, because you have to basically go to get on the lightning rail, make it all the way to Sharn, and then get all the way back.
Okay. That is something that Quentin thinks that he'd be able to represent or gives interests there.
Okay. This uses any stat that you would like to make the roll. Oh, by the way, I forgot this when you all came back. Nobody has earned a favor from Orgev. Everybody has earned a favor from Cogsworth. And please remember that if necessary, you all also have either 1 favor from House Thrashk or 2 favors specifically from Geralt to Thrashk. Up to you how you choose to use them. Favors from a house or like a noble house or a noble or something like that might go a little bit farther in certain situations. So you would like to go to the gala there, Quintus?
Yes, and I am going to use Cogsworth favor.
Okay. So go ahead and roll for me. Your DC on this is an 11. All right. You got a success. And one sec here. I closed a window that I shouldn't have closed. You make a fair impression. It's fair. You're definitely more skilled, at least at the moment, in Fey courts, which are far more flippant. And, you know, the main people here that are flippant seem to be King Boronel, and he's just kind of a, like, he's not like a brat. He kind of acts like Delian a little bit, honestly. Like he enjoys pushing people to see what'll happen. But he's also just kind of like a bro. So once you're like, very funny, Your Majesty, he's like, fucking, I know.
Amazing.
Yeah, you managed to make a fair impression, and you get a favor from the Ircade family. It's IR''KADE. The Ircade family runs basically textile trades. And they are a very, very old family from Rowett. And like I said, that will take you 8 days. So we will move forward.
12th is when people come back. Sharut and Lumio are finished with that.
Yep. And I believe I skipped a thing for
Oh,
Mandarin
yeah.
too, because he's done
the
on
9th.
He's done on the 9th, so on the 10th he can start something new. Or no, wait,
So-
6, 7, 8. So on the 9th he can start something new.
So that the next item is Lumio's Mithril Masswork Changer. Will cost
How much did I owe you?
937.5 for the Mithril Changer, which is like 25% discount.
All right.
Then Lumio, same thing, 937.5. So 937 gold, 5 silver.
Yeah. So that you guys all know how this is happening. I told Eric that Uswin literally will not allow him to sell it to you at cost.
Wanted to, but John Eric was like, no. And I was like,
Because
"All right, fair
because they are resource barons. That is what dwarves are here. And the resource that House Sornath deals in is finely crafted arms and armor. So he is selling it to you at a quarter off, which is more than like fucking anybody else would get for Sornath made stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'll
I
open
said,
a
it's
line
the
of
friends
credit.
and family discount.
Yeah. Like if Uswin was not his sister and asked him to make something for her, he would probably just charge her 75%. Cool. Go ahead and roll for Delian.
All right. That one's going to actually take the full 9 days.
Full 9 days. All right. Well, we will move forward to the 14th, which is our next thing that happens.
Cool. That's when I get back.
This is an advancement. So again, advancements aren't something that you have to do, but it could be beneficial if you do. Morshan Irbalan requests assistance in planning the redistricting of 3/10. Much must be done with planning in regards to land, water, housing, noise, and most importantly for Sirens, beauty. It's getting messy, and she cannot stand that.
I can certainly help with this.
I definitely want to be a part of this.
Okay.
I
This is a task that will take 5 days, because they're just in the sort of walking around and planning and drawing things out phase at the moment.
I gotcha.
So if you guys both want to help with this, who is going to be my primary?
I think I will.
Okay. So go ahead, and I need first for Delian to roll at your whatever your intelligence bonus is +1.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, what's up?
It is likely, I'm assuming, that we'll get events that intersect, correct?
Yes.
So, like,
Yes.
basically, we have to be very mindful of whether or not we should commit ourselves to a specific event in case one does show up later that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
The
cool.
first couple are me explaining how this works.
Okay, because I was thinking of also joining in on this, but I didn't want to. Yeah.
And it's that's a 10
Okay.
because of the +1.
Because of the +1. Wait, you're at a +4 bonus for ints now?
Remember, it's bonus +1.
I didn't know that he was at a +4 bonus for int. I thought he was at a +3. So cool. You managed to hit a 10. So Lumio, go ahead and roll your bonus, and then it's +1 for being level 5, and then +2 for Delian assisting.
That's a 10.
So
Yeah,
that'll
that's a
put
10.
you at a 10. So 10 is not going to be quite enough here. So the planning basically falls apart. The people in 3 tents are not pleased with the idea of having to pick up and move everything again. So Morshan will look at the two of you and tell you, look, we'll attempt to do this another day or another way, but one way or another, this will have to change. It's too chaotic at the moment, and we can't make whatever they have here into actual paths for a street. And so you guys are doing that for 5 days. We go to the 15th, and then 16th, and then 17th. And on the 17th... Oh, wait. I did the wrong... how did I do the wrong one on the 14th? Calendar app fucked me. It's fine. We'll do the right one for the 17th.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. So this one is a problem for specifically 4 of the 5 of you, plus Tertia, and for Sidna. The curse of the golden bones is becoming more of an issue. As time goes on, you all feel your health failing you, and you must find a way to overcome or get the curse removed. Thankfully, it appears that the hexologist that Orgev has sent for has arrived, but they will need you to be able to essentially pass some trials, go through some physical tests in order to see if you're actually going to be able to, survive this. So, who would like to work on the problem of the curse of the golden bones?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can I use hero points on these checks?
Yeah, you can use hero points on any D20 roll.
Then I will absolutely work on this.
Okay.
I will attempt to assist.
Okay. So since you're assisting, I need you to roll first with whichever stat you're assisting with, and then I'm saying add the +1 for you guys. You're level 5. Add a +1 to all of these things. So it's
Right.
whatever the stat is +1.
Okay, let me see if I can do it with the shortcut bar. No, it just automatically rolls it. Weird. So that is with a +1. So or that's without the +1. So that would be 11.
Okay, and 11 will assist. So Quintus, you
I am
will get
spending a hero point on this.
Okay. So that you know, this event will take 8 days from the both of you. Go ahead and roll with your hero point and your +2 from Sharut. That's a bad roll.
Yeah, it's not good.
So you got a success, but it's not a success for everyone. So you are able to remove the curse from 2 PCs. Who would you like to remove it from?
So what I know of it, what I know of the curse is that it is going to get us sick and it is going to make us go blind.
Yes.
Okay. We need Sharut to be a doctor.
Okay. So Sharut, you no longer have the curse of the golden bones.
Hooray!
And who else? You have one more.
Andorin.
Okay. Sharut and Dandarin, the 2 of you no longer have it. Everybody else, your con drops by 2, for the moment at least, unless you manage to take care of the curse. The curse, since it wasn't triumphed on, will continue moving forward, as will the solutions. The hexologist tells you that they are more than happy that they were able to help a pair of you. However, they need to return to Rowit and potentially to Sharn for more reagents, and it will take them some time. So I will move forward from there. The next
18th is when.
Oh, was it the 18th?
18th when I'm up.
Yeah,
again.
18th is when he's done.
Dandrid, you're done with your second mithril chain shirt. What would you like to do?
I'll approach Sharut and be like, well, with your blessing of health, my dear friend, how you feeling about that armor?
Sharut realizes that he forgot.
You also wanted a cauldron of brewing and a modification on your hand crossbow. And Soranath is more than happy to help you finance those processes for you. Isn't that right, Jerusalem?
Really, Sharut, like, we do this for nearly everyone. So long as you make your payments properly, we won't have to repossess the relics at a later date. And Dandrid's a fine smith. This is a bargain at any price, but at Dandrid's price that he's giving you right now, I'd tell you, you probably would never find a price like this again.
How much was the cauldron of brewing?
Cauldron of brewing was not cheap, my friend.
Yeah, no.
How much was the cauldron of brewing? I'll tell you how much it was. It was a bargain.
Compared to what it actually cost, absolutely. So the cauldron of brewing is only going to cost you low price of 2,025.
I like car salesman Uswin.
You said 2025? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have to nix that until I get more gold. Take it off the queue.
Okay, how about the +1 to your hand crossbow?
How much was that?
$34,000.
Yeah, that's only going to cost you
a kidney.
The low price of 1,500 GP, as opposed to the 2,000 it would cost you normally.
It's a bargain, Shrew.
It's a full 25% off discount.
A full 25% off discount. We never do that for anyone.
It's true. Only the dearest of friends and family.
Dearest of friends and family, Shrew.
When I have shed blood together.
Men like you have fought together back to back, and I think that you need this in order to continue to do that.
I don't have the money. I spent it all on
It doesn't matter that you don't have the money, Shrewd. All we need for you to do is sign this here. We'll go up to the Kundarak counting house. We'll get this all verified, maybe get a Civis mark on it, and you'll be good to go.
Sharut, just take chainmail for now.
All right, that's 937.
Still going to require that trip to the counting house, but I'm sure it won't be a thing. They usually don't have a long line. Come with me, Sharut.
Before she starts to drag him to the counting house, he fishes out a black opal and the Kundarak ruby. He's like, Sharut have money. Sharut can pay. And he matches the difference with the gold. So it's like that's 550 in gems, and then he matches the rest with gold, because you said it was going to be 900 something, right?
937 and 5 silver.
Yeah, 937. Yeah, he can afford that. I forgot about my gems.
Reroll that.
Oh my god!
I want it to be known. That's literally the only way I can fill the roll. So I'm going to use my hero.
Hold on. Wait. Does that +2 make it for you?
So real talk, I was including the +2 from Uswan.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Never mind then.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, but yeah, if a reroll, you'll have it in 3 days.
All right, so
22nd is his next.
Einstein try. So it'd be 22nd. 22nd is also an event. So I'll get to the event first, then I'll get to you, Dandrin. The event is there you go. Everybody should be able to see it now. It is Inquisitive hunting. So, an Inquisitive of the Silver Flame, named Feck the Dour Hilt, is in town and running numerous people through his interrogations. He seems to be looking for someone or something and having a rough time of it. Depending on what you'd like to do here, you can try to drive him out of town. You can try to help him out. It's kind of up to you. This is just an opportunity. You can roll it and then tell me what you're rolling for. This is an extended sort of investigation. It will take whoever chooses to participate 8 days.
People who are available are myself, Lumio.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I kind of want to go over there and bust his balls a little bit.
If you want to go for it, go for it. I'm not gonna.
I mean, that's Delian's thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to get in your way though. You know, especially since he's got balls for the busting. It's like he's got a bowl of chips and they're just sitting there.
So it's like do you want to help him? Do you want to drive him out of town? Nah, I just want to be a dick to him for an extended period of time, right around 8 days or so.
Could that drive him out of town?
Yeah, you can use this to just drive him away.
Yeah.
By being a dick to him specifically.
Lumio only wants to know what he's doing here. So
I don't even want to be a mild nuisance. I want to be a moderate nuisance, but not enough to get me killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would either of you or both of you like to participate in this one?
I would like to. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, both of us?
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a both of us thing.
Lumio just wants to know what he's looking for and potentially assist him in finding that faster if it gets him out of town. If it's something he wants to protect, though, he may be obfuscating.
Typically,
then I'll let him do it.
Typically, inquisitives are pretty tight-lipped about who they're looking for because trains exist, and they're always worried about whatever they're looking for getting away.
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be terrible. Wouldn't want to know what's going on.
Be a shame if something happened.
Yeah, terrible thing. So let's talk. Let's do a charisma and see if I can find out more about what's going on.
Okay.
And maybe convince him to go in a certain direction. We'll see what happens.
Sure. So go ahead and roll for me.
Okay. You've got to be shitting me. Okay, that's cool.
What was your total?
Let's see. +1, so 9.
So the funny thing is, this is the lowest DC one on the group. 9 actually makes it.
You did it, buddy.
I did it.
So you succeed. What you learn is that Feck the Dour Hilt is in town, and he's searching for an undead creature that is rumored to have been traveling via carnival. And you know that about 3 months ago, there was a carnival in town. And he said that there was already a Silver Flame Inquisitive after this person, but that Inquisitive just stopped checking in. They completely stopped checking in. He assumes that what happened is that they found the creature that they're after, and they got killed. So the two of you are not able to find much other than the fact that the person who was part of the carnival apparently still is and left town, because over the course of the 8 days, you managed to interview everybody who was part of the sort of traveling fair or the mummers groups or anybody who came into town around that time and stayed. Mm-hmm. And eventually, for your service, he gives you a masterwork silver knife with sort of the symbol of the silver flame kind of embedded in a pearl in the handle, and tells you that if necessary, this might protect you as the creature if you believe in the flame and you present it as such. If not, it might still be of use if you find the need to combat them.
This is a princely gift, and I appreciate your taking the time to help protect me and those in our humble town.
Yeah, and I understand that I might have been a bit tight-lipped about things when I ran in, but can never be too careful when you've got vampires and the like running about.
Oh, indeed. You never know when someone would be their spawn or working for an Oromite? Oromite.
Never heard of that, but it sounds dangerous. I'll let you know if I ever run across one.
Good.
Had too many vowels. Hate them.
Too many vowels for me. I ain't never run against no Oromite. So that's Lumio. That's what you're doing for the next 8 days. You are busy until the 1st of Nim.
That is correct. Dandarin.
And Dandarin, you are done with what you were making.
Right, so the next thing I am working for is the gifted armor for Sidna, which is just Masterwork Full Plate. This is not mithril, so I literally cannot fail this. I can only make it faster.
Okay. I help you make it faster.
Hey. How do I make it? I make it in 2 days.
In 2 days. All right. 1-2. It's the 24th now. What would you like to make now?
Right. So now, next is going to, because even though he's not in the game, I did say I was going to make it for Tertia. Tertia's Mithril Rapier, which will cost 1120. I assume just Tertia does it.
So,
No.
was this a thing that Mike requested, or a thing that you said you could
Prior
make
to Mike
for her?
leaving, because I was going to make him the armor, and he's like, I have armor that's already as good, but I could use like a rapier.
Okay.
So
In-
Mike had requested this
In that
prior
case,
to leaving the game.
in that case, Tertia will have to take out a loan for it. She does want it, but she will have to take out a loan for it, because otherwise, Tertia's money all immediately went into the dance studio. So she doesn't have 1,100 that she's just sitting on.
Sure.
But yeah, go ahead and Uswin will help, and go ahead and roll.
And for that, because it is a weapon and not armor, it is much easier. So it is moderate masterwork mithril, 6 days. Another thing I couldn't fail, but I will make it in 2 days again.
2 days again. 1, 2. Next.
Alrighty.
I'm going day by
Next.
day here.
Yeah, no, totally. Just double checking. So next is going to be enhancing my full plate. This will take 1 day. DC is 20. I literally can't fail. It cost me 450 GB.
Okay. Uswin will help where she can. I don't know if she can actually help with enchanting. She's not that level
She's
of
running
smith.
she's just minding the store.
Yeah.
She cannot yet hear what the song of the runes.
Yeah.
Um,
She comes in and sees you just sort of humming, and your hair and beard all up in an air or in the wind that she doesn't feel, and she's like, fucking mages.
it's like, and then the next day is +1 to my tower shield. Same thing. Literally can't fail. DC is 20.
Okay. So you are able to do both of those. I will get back to you on the 28th. On the 27th, there's a problem, and I will make visible to all of you. So problem is there's missing citizenry, and it seems that over the month, a number of people have gone missing. Basically, not since you guys got into town, but for about 2 weeks past that. And people are going missing who kind of shouldn't be going missing, like people with families, people who are telling people hey, I'll be there in an hour, and then they just never show up. So you've got 6 adults and 1 child that have been reported as missing over the last month. Orgev has you have a couple of inquisitives that are in town, namely the heir of House Madani, but he is looking into something else for Orgev. So Orgev is asking you all to handle this.
Thank goodness we're both back.
So this is a con, whiz, or charisma roll.
Not gonna be super helpful here. Not gonna lie.
If no one else does it, I'll do it.
I mean, I can try to help with con, but my wisdom and my charisma are
Okay.
hard.
So who would like to take it?
I will.
Okay.
I will assist.
Okay. Sharut, please roll to assist with the stat of your choice.
I do not assist.
Okay. Delian, please roll to investigate with the stat of your choice.
Okay.
It's con, whiz, or charisma.
Yeah. I'm gonna use a hero point.
Makes sense.
So that's a +9. So 15 + 9, 24.
Okay. That will make it by some degrees of triumph. So you have discovered 4 of the bodies as corpses, and where you discovered them is thrown into the wells. There are a number of wells around town. There's a well here. There's a well near Dandarin's shop. There's a couple of wells over in 3 Tents. There's some over in Clawtown. But you found them sort of thrown into the wells. And so there's kind of the assumption that that's probably what's happened to the other 3. The ones that you found mostly because you were look, everywhere that we have looked, we haven't been able to find them. So, yeah. However, on finding them, Shrut, you are able to give them a good test, and you realize that these things have had their blood drained until they died.
Were they bled out like cattle?
It looks like something ripped into their throat.
Oh, the carotid artery and all that
Um,
shit. Yeah.
and it doesn't look like it was a very pleasant sort of rip.
Can I maybe do a knowledge check to determine what could or may have done this?
That's not part of this, so no.
Okay.
But that's something you can like keep in mind. So this is just the things that are going on over this time.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, what's up?
Is it are the this
it's
may
not
not
that.
have to do with it, but are the wounds similar to what happened to Raitiel?
Yes, they do look similar to that.
Okay.
And it looks like it's just, and it's to be fair, it's only the neck on 3 of the ones that you found. On one of the ones that you found, it's more like the wrist, but the same sort of like it looks like it was just torn away.
Okay.
All right, and then
How long did that last?
that one was 7 days. Sorry.
Okay.
So, moving forward again, we're at the 28th, which I believe is a Dandarin day.
We're at the fast part of everything.
Yes.
So the next day is Quintus's sleeves of many garments. That will cost you, Quintus, 200 gold because you did not get the friends and family discount, as we had previously discussed, based on our characters having met for like a day when we agreed to make it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's just 200. Again, DC is 16. I literally can't fail it. That takes 1 day.
Okay.
Next day is the party bag of holding type 1. That is going to take me 2 days. And that will take party funds because I am making it for the group.
Okay.
So
I will reach back out to you on the 3rd. On the 2nd of Nim, there's a problem, and that problem is bastard Trixie Fae. So some bastard Trixie Failings have begun to both irritate and confound local farmers. There's rumors that one had his favorite set of pruning shears replaced with solid gold, and that another had 4 cows killed by what he could only see as a small man in a red hat.
Oh. Not again. Not
no,
again.
Andy having flashbacks.
I wasn't even there for that, and I'm afraid.
Evacuate the town.
The red caps have come again. I always knew this is how I would die.
We got a red cap, boys.
So we leave. Is that what we do?
This is
Lucier is dead.
This is a problem that will take some days to solve because Fae are tricksy. You can roll Dex or Wisdom for this one.
Yeah, I'm in on it.
I can't, so I'm out.
Okay.
How much did or how long did
7.
Oh,
We're,
okay. So
guys are
I'm
we're
out.
free till
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, you guys are back on the 6th.
Okay.
20. That's not what D20. I swear I can type.
Actually, no, never mind. It's not even worth trying.
All right. Quintus, you have a keen insight into the tricksiness of Fae. And so you have been able to kind of drive off the red cap and probably just tell the Oramite sorry in such a way that it stops being a dick and turning things that shouldn't be gold into gold. Because like as you're sort of doing this, at one point it's like, you know, like somebody's bucket. And it's like but it's doing it with like the tools that people specifically need to do their job. So like the cobbler's like wrenches and stuff. And he goes like, I'm thankful this pays for shit for a month, but like I need those. So yes, you are you get a triumph on that one. Triumph is beating the DC by 5 or more. This will not just displace the Fae, but you get a favor with Kimnus, and Kimnus is the farmer that owns these 2 farms right here. Yeah.
Cool.
So after that is
How long
going
does
to
that
be
take?
that is like I said, that was a long one. That is a 13-day problem.
Fuck.
So
Wow, I'm out until the 15th.
you are. After that is going to be the next day, which I believe Dandarin is making something. Dandarin?
Yeah, he finishes.
Yeah, and then look, for the bag of holding, I had to roll because if I rolled a 1, I would have just had to do it again in 2 days.
Yeah.
I succeed, so in 2 days, the party will have a bag of holding type 1, which I paid for with party funds and some of the dragon shards.
Dope.
From the party.
And so what do you make on the is that what you made on that's what you start making on the 3rd?
Yes,
I believe so, because the day before,
that's
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
I would have, I would have made the things for Quintus, which would have been just in time for him to take them
yeah.
on his journey.
Sounds good. Then I will start talking to you again on the 5th. In the meantime, we have an advancement that came up, and this advancement is aqueduct planning. Hasdul Mulderiv, Hasdul is the prince's cousin. Raren Wussman and Bluck of Fallgrove need assistance and protection as they plan out the new aqueduct from the quarry spring. Assistance is requested.
Lumio would like to get in on this.
Okay.
He is the only one who can.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Lumio's
neat.
the only one who can. Everybody else is busy doing other things.
This sounds important too.
Yeah. And just checking, how many hero points do you get back when you level?
When you level, you get 2.
2. Okay, so I have 2.
You have 2.
All right, yeah, I'm going to use one in advance to add to my roll, so I'll get +8 on that, and I'll be rolling in.
Sounds
How many
good.
days? How many days? For this one?
This is this one takes 10. There's a lot of trucking back and forth and measuring and all kinds of stuff. So,
can I call in my favor from the sheriff of 3/10 as well?
for additional protection, yeah,
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 I just
you can
wanna
do that.
keep everything locked down.
So you will have whatever your stat bonus is, +1, +3 from him, +8 for the +8 for your hero point.
All right. Thank God.
Woo.
So
And then +8.
you just got like 4 degrees of triumph on this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so number 1, you and the group successfully plan the aqueduct. It's going to start as basically like one of those old Roman aqueducts because you've realized that where you go in, you don't necessarily go down. Like where you went to the where you went to that pool that was in the mine, you don't really go down to that. It's pretty level with the outside. But you guys are going up into the mountains from there. So if you make the aqueduct level with the mine and then go down from there, it should actually just flow fairly naturally to the city.
Yeah.
So you are able to protect them from a couple of raids of like violent creatures, both in the mine and out of the mine. And in exchange, you get not just the plans made for the aqueduct, but you also get a favor from each of them, from Hasdul, from Raren, and from Bluck.
You guys got to record your own favors. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, so that you know, again, Hasdul is a cousin of the prince, but she is an illegitimate cousin. Raren she was one of the primary ambassadors for Seer, like a traveling ambassador, who has just settled back down into New Seer, and Bluck is the human gatekeeper who's like sort of a nature advisor.
Okay.
Who's kind of like a nature advisor, but will also just do what he wants because he's a fucking druid. So,
That was the 4th.
that was the third. That was the third of Nim.
Okay.
So we will go to the 4th and then the 5th. 5th, I believe Dandarin is done crafting his thing. Did you have another thing to craft?
I do, and it's one that I came up with on the fly. I make, because you have a little bit of mithril left over, because crafting the suits only takes half as much for the one I built for Delian and for Sharut. So I take a little bit of mithril and I will gold plate it, which does make this a little complicated, and I make the fine handlebar mustache for Cosmo.
You were making
mithril and gold plated.
uh
This is a kingly gift I'm giving him.
Uswin will absolutely insist on assisting with this one.
That-
And
yeah,
we'll
that-
and we'll
that
do
makes
so as well as you do.
That's because she rolled an 18 and I rolled a 2.
Yeah. So clearly there's some level of difference in the skill there, but we don't really want to talk about that. I'm going to say that takes you, what, 2 days? Of just...
That's what it would be, just because of the special materials in the masterwork.
Sure. You do that. On the 6th is the Airtane Gala.
It was back at that point.
Yeah, it's back. It's every 6th of the month. So is anyone back? I know Lumio is not.
Delian and Sharut are back on the 6th.
yeah.
Delian and Sharut, if you would like, your group has one invite to the gala.
I'm gonna
Liam
be
does not
honest.
want to.
Like, I don't think Sharut would want to go either.
That's fine.
To be honest.
You don't have to. Okay, so you guys will pass that opportunity by. We will go to the 7th, which mustache is done. Anything else there, Dandred?
After that point, Dandrin is basically so he's
I do have a
technically-
question for Dandrin and the party, actually. Do we want to make... Actually, let me think on that, because... Never mind. I have to think on something.
Speaking on behalf of the party, then I'm not going to answer.
Well,
hold on. As a delegate from the party, I have to say, perhaps.
well, I was thinking if we had the funds in the party coffers, we could make a vestive surgery, and then we don't ever need to buy healer's kits ever again.
How much does that cost?
For crafting,
Give him the full price because he does weird things with crafting.
okay, the full price is 3,000 GP, but I don't know how much we have in party coffers.
In party coffers, because of all the dragon shards, kyber shards, and like gems, we have thousands still in the specifically. Yeah. So let's see. That is a magical item, so I only reduce it by that. So the craft cost would be 1,500 minus an additional 150. So that's 1,350 is going to be the cost for me to make it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds worthwhile. Like,
then that would take me base 2 days.
Yeah,
because of how I modify the time.
So
yeah, 2 days. I'll mark off 13.
And Uswin will ace her assistant role. She's getting good at this.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing great, sister. Wonderful. Hold on. I do need to double check what the DC is to the nat 20. Nice. There's a chance I don't roll for it. So it's a vested surgery?
Yeah, vested surgery. The wearer is always treated as if using a healer's kit when making heal checks.
How expensive is a heal kit?
It's like...
So Uswin, I'll roll it just because, but it's another DC 20. I literally can't fail. So let's see how much we ace it by. I can knock it out of the park.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if you count the whole, like, I have to slightly increase the DC because I don't have lesser restoration as a spell, like that.
That's why it's DC 20 instead of DC 10.
Yeah. So
one healer's kit, Justin, is 50 GP, but what this basically allows me to do is like the shenanigans of I expend 5 charges of a healer's kit.
Yeah.
Because healer's kit.
And every healer's kit only has 10 charges, and when he heals all of you guys at like the end of a fight, that uses like 6 charges. So
additionally, this does let him make a heal check to just cure a D4 ability damage.
Yeah, like once a day or
additionally,
something like that, right?
So he just gets to do that instead of taking charges from his kit to do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So cool. You do that. That'll take you 2 days. 2 days later, it is your turn. Actually, wait. 1 day later, on the 8th, an event happens that
no one's here for.
No, I am available, and so is
Shroot and I are.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, this is a copy of a previous event. It is the Curse of the Golden Bones.
Fantastic.
Golden
Bones.
So the master hexologist is back in town, and looking a little the worse for wear. Came with all of his reagents and tells you that he has studied, traveled far and wide, thinks he knows how to do it this time. He'll just need a little bit of assistance. The process has not really improved. So this one uses again. Hold on, what was it last?
Con
month?
and wisdom.
Yeah, I believe it was Con and wisdom. Yeah, Con or wisdom to be able to do it. It will also last for 8 days for anyone that chooses to try.
If anyone has hero points left that can make this check, I recommend spending a hero point to make this check.
Yeah, seriously.
Because I think I only have 1 left, if that.
I do have a plethora of hero points, but sure, it's a tiny goblin, and let's just say it's not very wise.
So are you the one that's going to be doing it then?
That just sounds like use a hero point. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, because I don't think Delian is in basically the same boat. Yeah, I'll spend a hero point and I'll take lead on this. I'll do a Constitution.
Okay,
check.
so you're going to take lead. Is anybody else assisting with this?
Again,
you don't have to. It's just this is an 8-day thing.
Julian, we've got 6 more days for Lumio to be done. Here, he's done on the 13th. So if anything happens in the interim, we wouldn't have anybody there if you were joining.
Yeah, so I would not.
Okay. So
I wouldn't
Sharut-
be much help to begin with.
Sharut, go ahead and roll with your hero point bonus and your bonus from your stats and all that stuff.
How do I roll it with those bonuses without it automatically rolling?
Just
One-
type
roll.
/1/roll 1d20 plus whatever.
Oh, I'm such a silly. That makes so much sense.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. And it's 8 from a hero point, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you
And
called
then
it before the roll.
And then +1 for being over or being at level 5.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Sharut, you have succeeded, but not triumphed. Please pick 2 PCs, or 2 people that are afflicted with the curse, and you can remove the curse from them. Note that Tertia and Fursidna are still counted as being afflicted with the curse.
Well, Dillian should probably have the curse removed.
Okay. Delaying the curse is removed, your con score goes back to normal.
Sweet.
You know, Tertia hasn't really been helping us out all that much. Just saying, over the course of a few days. It's just we'll go with
I believe the people that are still afflicted are Quintus.
Quintus, Forstidna, and Tertia.
Yeah, Quintus, Forstidna, and Tertia.
I think I'll give it to Quintus.
Okay.
Quintus forgoes his and gives it to Forsidna.
Okay.
Okay. So for those who still have it, so Tertia and Quintus, you are an additional -2 to con. Also, you are at a -2 to wisdom as things start to take on a sort of painful golden hue. Everything that you look at.
Yep.
All right, Sharut, that will take you 8 days. I will go to the next day, which I believe is the 9th is a Dandarin day. Dandarin, do you have anything left to craft?
So technically, yes, but it's one of those. It's a side project thing.
Okay.
Because it's the house, the masonry check. I said I was gonna make.
Yeah, go ahead and make a masonry check. Usman can help with this as well because she's been fucking killing it. Jesus.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I was rolling 20s.
And then he rolls a 10 and gets higher than I did rolling a 20. You piece of trash. So yes, the two of you are really doing some things down in your like starter dwarven home. You are starting to really like turn this into, oh hey, we probably shouldn't be just digging. There should be some craftsmanship in here as well.
Yeah, some actual like fine stonework and like
Yeah.
etching and carving and stuff.
She was more trying to get the room.
She was roughing it out, and I'm doing the finished details.
Yeah. I love the idea of her being like, yeah, I'm mostly gonna just rough it out and grabbing a pickaxe and just like swinging for fucking hours. And
Right. Just how dwarves do.
this absolute ripped shopkeeper. Okay.
All 3 of the children of our parents don't
So
look like them.
I'm gonna assume that that's kind of what you're doing until the end, unless you choose to tell me otherwise.
Since this is a side project thing, at any time if like an emergency comes up, Dandrin is willing to since
jump
this
on
is
that.
not work, this is a personal project.
Yeah.
He's willing to abandon it to do an important thing.
Sounds good. Then I will move forward to the 14th of Nim. On the 14th of Nim, there's a problem that has come up, and you guys might sort of recognize this problem because some caravans from Sterngate aren't arriving. Sterngate is the town to the sort of southeast. You take the east road over here out of town to get, to the southwest. You take the west road over here to get out of to get to Sterngate. So they aren't arriving, and the trade district suspects foul play. The Brailish road wardens, they aren't really successfully stopping or tracking down anything. They've been through a couple times. They've given people some warnings, but they're hoping that someone else can actually like take a look at this and see what's going on.
Delian and Lumio are available.
Okay, so if either of you would like to do this, this is a strength or wisdom check. Strength to sort of just guard the caravans, or wisdom to try to track them down.
Hey, you know what both of my dump stats are?
Lumio, don't you have a bunch of favors though?
I do have a lot of favors.
You do have a lot of favors.
Dandrin will pop out of the house to be like, well, I finally finished the bag
The
order. I
stairs.
just work on a personal project, and it's just about
Uswin's in the
disappearing,
background with like the horse cart just fucking full of rocks.
Every time someone comes up, it's just like Dandrin or like Uswin, basically shirtless, just doing like heavy lifting stuff, just fucking jacked.
So Dandrin, do you wanna do this one?
Dandrin will take a point on this, and Dandrin is going to spend a hero point.
Okay, so this is a 9-day problem. Go ahead and spend a hero point. Make the strength roll for me. Okay,
So strong.
that
Someone like
is
butts
a
tonight.
triumph by a couple of degrees. So, Dandrin, you have managed to not only track down one of the Bandit King Erleman's camps, you were able to recover some stolen goods from it. And thus, you have not just protected the trade caravans, you have earned a favor with Hampton Earmalk.
Earmalk?
Yes, it is. Hold on, I will put the name out there for you.
Isn't that the asshole who had the mine?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was you. Oh, son of a bitch.
And-
I give the bandits back the stuff.
He is one of the more notable leaders in the trade district. So
It's good
yeah.
for business. That means it's good for me.
Yeah, it's very much like this alliance will be good for business, and you probably still think he's a piece of shit. So that you know, this took you 9 days. On the next day is an opportunity. I will let everybody see it. The opportunity is for a critical delivery to Kinrun. One of the House Orion wagons is broken down, and Leo de Vidalis is not in town at the moment, or they would ask him to fly his giant eagle there. Basically, there is a noble family who is offering... sorry. Leo de Vidalis and his eagle are out of town, but the Vidalis family is offering their fastest mage-bred horse to any rider willing to take the risk of the somewhat dangerous goblin territory to go to Kinrun as fast as possible with this courier job.
If only we had a goblin.
Julian, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think I would.
So basically they're like, look, if you do this and you get it there in time, you can keep the horse.
And you only said it was somewhat dangerous, not totally dangerous.
If you see goblins coming down from the mountains, I would advise you to do your best to avoid them.
Oh, I'm good at that.
There are no civilized goblins living in the mountains. The
Sure,
civilized ones are past the mountains, living in Rukondral.
Sure, it sneezes again.
I
We're
think I'm gonna
civilized and
spend-
we lived in the mountains. You hid there for 5,000 years. Yeah, but still
Still.
Still civilized. How dare?
still civilized.
Count those.
I'll spend my last hero point just to make sure,
Okay.
because I can get a free fucking horse.
This is like literally House of Dallas telling you this is our fastest horse that we have, and these are the people that make the mage-bred horses. So
Yeah. And that sounds super nice.
That's a you use that to race is what you do.
and when you
I
agree
use that
to it,
to run away.
when you agree to it, you hear in your head adventure,
Adventure, mischief.
Panic.
mischief,
Danger.
panic, panic, danger.
I like how it goes from adventure to mischief to
Oh,
panic to danger.
I'm kind of so glad I spent that. So that'd be a 7 and an 8. That's a 15.
Okay, so yes, that is enough to succeed, and your prize for succeeding is the horse. You have a mage-bred heavy war horse.
Oh yes. It's
Um,
way too big for me.
It is way
We'll
too
pull
big
the
for
wagon
you.
nicely.
And
Garbage. This is going home. with me.
they have bred this particular one for speed. So it is like, I think your average horse's movement speed is a 50. This one's a 60.
All right.
I think that's what it is. I'll have to check again. I can give you the stats for it if you'd like. It is a big ass fast horse, and it is worth a pretty penny if you ever need to sell it, because people will buy, lie, cheat, steal, or kill for a mage-bred horse.
That's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, they're very, very expensive and very worth it.
Yeah. I
So,
got you.
all right. And after that is going to be our last event on the 20th is an advancement. This is the formation of the Royal Guard. Orgev will ask for any of you who are there, and he tells you, like, I have some interest in recruiting a royal guard, which I am permitted to have based on our agreements with Braylon. What that royal guard might become, be that a larger armed force or a militia or something of that sort, who knows? I am not permitted to have those, but a royal guard I can have. I would request some assistance in testing and judging the individuals. I do not have quite the military mind that my mother had. I'm more of an explorer by trade.
I am.
Sure is available.
Is Lumio?
Lumio should be available, yes.
Yes, I believe Lumio is available. Sharut is available. I think everyone but
Dandarin
Dandarin and Delian are available.
So Quintus should.
What's up?
This is the last event. Go all in, all three of you.
If somebody gets the opportunity to nix the curse again, then that would be.
There's one for that during this. Yes.
Okay.
So
somebody we need somebody available for that.
I think Sharut will take point on this one.
Okay.
On the formation of the Royal Guard?
Let
because it's any. You can use any.
Stop worrying about the stat.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Worry
I'm
about
trying-
what
I'm not-
actually makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
and Lumio, the
formation-
military commander,
Yeah, Lumio.
forming
Sharut-
the Royal Guard?
Sharut
Or the
from a
Dr.
martial.
Sharut?
Sharut also from a martial background.
Yeah.
So if you want to take point on this one, you can. But it
Yeah.
also makes sense for Sharut to take point on this one. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The military historian.
Yeah. He is very much a military historian. Lumio is a military commander. And you will be working with other military commanders, including Captain Kesme and Lieutenant Myodor, who are both sort of like Siren war heroes, in order to see who actually like fits for this. So Lumio, if you want to take the head on this, give me 1 second. Sharut, do you want to go ahead and roll to see if you assist?
Yeah, I'll roll to see if I assist.
You assist, and Lumio, you can go ahead and roll with his +2.
All right. I'm
Can I
gonna
call in
roll.
favor before you roll?
Yeah, I am gonna do that. I'm gonna add my my last hero point to this as well, because I want to knock this out of the park again.
Okay.
And would Hasdul be of assistance here?
Hasdul would definitely be of assistance here. Hasdul, from what you've been able to tell, is ignored in pretty much everywhere she goes. So she can go pretty much anywhere. If you're looking to get like what they know with how to use a sword, sure, that's something that you can see up front. If you're looking into like actual secrets about these people and trying to figure out, you know, should they be trusted as members of the Royal Guard, that's something Hasdul would excel at.
Yeah, then definitely Hasdul.
Okay, you can call in your favor with Hasdul and get a +3 to your roll.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit. Get out of the way, please. Thank you. Intelligence check. Oh no.
It's okay, buddy. You got pluses, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of pluses. It's still a 1.
Do you have a hero point?
I just used it to add 8 to this. Yeah.
Question
So
is,
that's
is this a situation where a 1 is an automatic failure? Because you have a lot of pluses.
No. A 1 is not an automatic failure on these.
okay.
In that case, yeah, because you've got +8 from the hero point, +3 from the favor you call in, so that's +11, +2 from Shrewd. That's +13. I think you have a 16.
Plus 13, that's a 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, because
and +1 because it never adds it. So that's
1, 2,
actually
17.
18.
So that was an 18 total?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you have done here is
On a 1.
you have succeeded, but you have also gotten a second-degree failure because you rolled a 1.
Yay!
A second-degree disaster. So by succeeding, you have earned a favor from Captain Kesme. I will write names here in a second. And you have earned a favor from Lieutenant Myodor. Sharut, you have these as well. However, your guys' tactics were very questionable. So while you did succeed, and you are sort of like in their debt, you were also in their debt because there were numerous times where, Sharut was instituting like some harsh hobgoblin shit that like humans don't really go for. Or Lumio, you were like, come on, like keep it up. You should be able to go this long. And they're like, sir, the men have lungs. They're different. And you're like, nah, it's no excuse.
Quitter talk.
Degrin can do it.
That's quitter
He's a
talk.
dwarf.
And you are, you also both have 2 debts to both of those people. So you got a favor from each. You also have 2 debts from each of them.
Oh boy.
So just keep that marked down because that can come up at pretty much any time. It can come up in RPGs, or like in the RPG, like the role playing in general, but it can also come up in future sort of downtimey things.
Okay.
And then 5 days later, the master hexologist is back, and he goes, "All right, really been scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but I think I can do it again. But after this, you're either on your own or you're paying me because Orgev's coin has just run out. So, the problem of the golden bones is back once again. And who would like to help with this? This is
Endrin
a
will
con.
take point.
This is a con or wisdom roll. Basically to see if you can like make it through the pain mentally or make it through the pain physically as he attempts to ungold your bones.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and assist Dandrin.
Okay. So go ahead and roll to assist.
This is yeah, okay. So that's just gonna be like that. That's my favorite. Nope.
Okay. You don't assist. Dandrin, it's a con check or a wisdom check.
On. Ham.
So that's a failure again.
Is it because I don't have golden bones anymore?
So like he's doing what he can to like use you as a test subject to get this whole like curse and ritual ready, but the fact that you don't have the bones anymore, he goes, the ritual's not really taking hold the way it should. I'm sorry, sir, but we've used up most of the reagents and your friend's skeleton still glows.
How much is it going to cost us out of pocket?
It would take me about another week and a half, and it would be at least 1,000 Galifar.
Right, you'll have your 1,000 Galifar. I'll be back in a week.
I need it now, sir. I have to buy the
Is
reagents.
your 1,000 Galifar. I'll be back in a week.
Yes,
the party
sir.
fund.
And you see him like walk over to the House Orion or to the House Orion Roadhouse, and he goes like, "I'm gonna need a horse." This kind of oldish dude, the master hexologist, will ride out at a breakneck speed. So Quintus and Tertia, but Quintus is the one who's actually here. Your life has become a radiant pain. You can no longer see, and anytime you open your eyes, you light up the whole goddamn room.
Yep.
Your eyes are just a constant pain that is making your life miserable. Your wisdom drops by an additional 2 points. You don't get any less healthy, but your wisdom drops by an additional 2 points as you begin to sort of suffer the effects of very, very long-term sleep deprivation. To the point where they have been asking like Sharut or House Tarasco to mix various potions and potives to just drug you to sleep because there's nothing else that works. And even when you sleep, if you turn too much and your eyes kind of flicker or flutter, it's like suddenly daylight inside the house. But after about a week and 2 days, the master hexologist on a nearly dead horse rides back into town, and he goes, "Hey, I got him. Let's do this."
Bless your heart.
And I need the roll. Quintus, you can't possibly assist at this point. You are just incapacitated.
Is anyone
with pain.
available to assist with this?
It is a wisdom or con roll.
No.
So here's the thing. For a lot of the team, like, wisdom is a dump stat.
It's not a dumb stat for Dandry, but it's conflict better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody should be back actually at this point.
Yeah. Everybody's back at this point.
I can attempt to assist.
Sure. Go ahead and try to assist, Sharut. Wisdom or con, your choice.
We're gonna go con. Well, we'll see. All right, you resilient little goblin. Show me the money. Oh, hey.
All right, Dandrin.
Oh no, I'm gonna roll like a 2 because it's the curse.
Yeah.
It's cursed.
Dandrin,
I get a +2.
you get a +2. Tertia and Quintus, your bones are no longer gold.
Yay.
And over the course of the next couple days, you're like, like you start to feel healthier as your bones have been degilded and your eyes stop glowing. However, it looks, Quintus, like some damage was permanently done. You have a -1 to perception. And at the edges of your vision, always things are slightly golden, just slightly radiant.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Does that change anything that we have from the chitin? Specifically, does it do anything with the cloak? Or would it have while I was
No, it
badly...
doesn't do anything with the cloak. They're completely separate things.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the cloak is still an item of sheer nightmare, and you are now no longer a radiant and resplendent being.
Yes, be resplendent.
I will make you resplendent. And I think at that point, we are at Larvian the 13th, and I think that's where we're going to stop. Larvian the 13th, for those who want to know, is, I believe, the equivalent of May. Let me check real quick. No, sorry, it is the equivalent of July. So you have spent most of summer sort of planning this aqueduct, saving some the town from some bandits, saving some bandits from the town, maybe. Riding a horse at breakneck speed, and de-gilding your own bones. So we will pick up there at the sort of coming up on the end of summer next time when we play, and we will see what is next in store for you. So I do want to thank everybody for watching us play this week, and we will see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, everybody.